And the problem is that black men are what it seems like is assimilating to the white man's rhetoric. And this is why we go against our own women.
What evidence is that?
Now,
where are you getting that from?
It do have pockets of men that is doing what you are saying. But when we having the conversation, we are talking about the majority. And the majority are not execute on those high levels, like your brother in Connecticut, like the brother Q Butter that's in New York, and the other dude that's in Chicago. That's not the majority sense. So we cannot act like those exceptions.
The stats actually say the majority of black men are in the middle class. Yeah, which is like 51%. That's what the stats say. So we can go by what you believe. Hold on. See, this is the problem with Negro too. They go with what they believe instead of going with the stats. What are you reading from?
Nerd, you have to let me land it.
Go ahead.
And so the issue is we are not talking about brothers being in the middle class. That's just making money. That's not being. That's
okay. Just making money ain't just making money, yo. Money makes the world go around. You're being very flippant. You're being very flippant about something that's serious. Not having money, not having capital is half our problem. However, so when you say just making money, no, it's not just making money.
It is just making money. And the reason why it is just making money.
Because you say so.
No, the reason why is because if a woman is making just $100 less than you, you'll use that and say, well, I'm still making more. So if the money doesn't count when you are choosing your woman, it can't count when a man is just being in the middle class neither.
Sharon,
because if we're looking for a leader, we're talking about leadership qualities, and then it only matters when a man makes money, but all of a sudden doesn't matter when a female makes money because they are right neck and neck with us in the middle class.
Sharon,
that majority of black men, they need a woman to get out and be in the upper middle class because majority of people are working together. So when you're using this is why we gotta not just play and use the information in a negative way. We gotta use it in a truthful way.
Okay, truthful is how the evolutionary standard works, right? Let me repeat that. Truthful is how evolution works. Everything you said, it's trolling, clearly, right? Because that's why you're giggling right now. If what you said is true, then women would not be asking for certain metrics from men. They would be dating 5'4" dudes who are not making as much money as they ask that you be of a certain height and of a certain economic standard. So when you sit there and say that, no, hold on. Once I start to cook, once the boiling makes you want to come in, I'm giving you information. It's going. Hold on. Let me just land on this. Let me complete the thought. What I'm telling you is, women are asking for these metrics. You say that men are asking for. Women want. Why do they look for the tall dude? They're not. And I'm tall, so I'm good. I'm not worried about it. But I see it in my own time.
Pause there, because in reality, women are not.
In reality, your dog is even telling you BS.
Can I say something, please?
Come on, man.
They are not looking for this. They are not looking for it because regular.
They're not looking for tall guys who make a lot of money. I want somebody who makes more, as much or more than me.
Hold on. Women date regular sized men, and they date men that are not making. Okay,
you're being bad faith, yo.
Hold on, please.
Bad faith, man.
No, you are not having good faith. You are just regurgitating information.
I'm out of here, man. I'll catch up with you, man. You trolling today. You trolling, man. When you want to get serious, we can have a conversation.
Allow me to substantiate my argument instead of just making claims instead of substantiating things. Right? So you said something, and I'm trying to refute it. You cannot say that I'm trolling because I'm on the opposition of what you're saying. I'm substantiating my point. I'm not trolling you. I don't have no reason to troll. And when we see men on a day-to-day basis, we see plenty of men in these spaces. Guess what? Chaotic Truth is married. He ain't no tall human being. DJ Hamp is married. He is not a tall human being. Trigger Mite is married. He's not a tall human being. There's plenty of examples of these men that are being married with women choosing and being productive women that are not these things that you are talking about. Majority of them also was chosen when they was not making any money. And a woman helped them build them up to where they at today. So all the things that you are saying is just not truthful. It's just remedial talking points. And we need to dismantle those things so we get to the honest of the conversation and allow us as human beings to grow, especially as Black human beings to grow, because as long as we keep holding on to this idea that Black men are just the natural leaders with no proof behind it, that is the issue. Yes, do we have some dope ass men that are great leaders? Yes, but that's not the majority of us. And once we start handling that, this is why PhD was cooking me, or trying to cook me, but I ain't ready to cook yet. Let me just do my slow sip. This is
Listen,
Can I say something,
man.
Sharon?
hold on. This is oxtails today, so I'm taking my time with it. You know what
I
I'm saying?
just
Hold on. You know how hold on, Alfred. You know how long it takes to cook oxtails? All day, nigga. So this is what we are doing.
you remind me.
Hold on. So hold on before I remind you, Usher, what I'm trying to get you to understand. So if we just take the rightfulness of that women been attempting to get us in the right direction. Me and Savage already agreed that they were attempting to get us in the right direction. And somewhere between the 12 and 16, we get lost in the way, and then we find our way back around like 30, where we get very serious with life and we like, God damn, all the advice that we got, we should have did that at 18. And so now that we're here today, what I'm trying to get you to understand, if we allow them to lead us, we can eventually get into the mindset where we can actually take over the reins and start leading correctly, because we followed correctly, because we all know a great leader first learn how to follow first. I want to get the ladies in there. MJ wanted to get in there.
After
Jay
MJ, can I get in there?
So we're going to do it like this. We're going to go MJ, Truth, Jay, and Savage, so we can get all of the voices in there.
All right, I'm gonna try to be fast because I'm gonna start heading to work. The point is, I hate when the conversation gets confused about preferences instead of actually what's going on in reality. Just because women might have preferences, just because the stats show that they might like a man that's taller or such and such, we can see in real life that women have found love and have found companionship with people who doesn't even fit any of their lists. And also men have done the same. Y'all have y'all preferences as well, but y'all have found love or found the companion that didn't necessarily fit your superficial list, right? So the conversation got to stop moving to superficial things and then actually about what is really going on and what really matters to individuals when they have these relationships or marriages, right? And then secondly, to the point, it's hard when I hear about like women saying women are not leaders and they can't be leaders. And then in one breath, they say that, well, it's women's leadership that has caused all this confusion and chaos and stuff like that. I really want to know, when are we going to just really kind of like be honest? I can make an agreement that we're not perfect. I can make an agreement that men are not perfect. I can make an agreement that we have a lot of work to do. But there's so many ways women have shown up in leadership or tried the best that they possibly can and are still doing it. It's very offensive to hear that when I've been a leader of men for almost 20 years. I'm going to a job right now where I am a leader of men. Not majority women, majority men, okay? And I make sure that they get home to their fucking families. I make sure that they get home to their wives. You know what I'm saying? And their children. So it's quite offensive. And then on top of that, you want to talk about why not helping and the supporting. You don't even know. It came down to Q-Berta. Shout out to Q-Berta. I know him in real life. You know why I know him in real life? It's because I was a substitute teacher for his school during the pandemic. Okay? When our kids needed a math teacher and a science teacher, I was there. And on top of that, I put my own son in that damn school to learn. So at the end of the day, you can say whatever you want to say about women, but there is women who are doing the work, showing up where they can show up, and paying homage to the men who show up for their community. There's nothing I will do to support a man who is actually really showing up and doing what they need to do. And I'm going to continue to do what I need to do And if that looks like me taking over or being a leader, then by God, I'm going to fucking do it because it's better for our children and it's better for our community. And that's all I have to say. I'll be listening in the cloud, Sean. Talk to you later.
Thank you. That was awesome. Go ahead. We got Truth, Jay, Savage, and then Afternoon could address us all.
Yeah, I'm glad the Sarge tapped in on that because that's what I was about to go to. We saw, a couple of interviews and a couple of debates showing a extreme inferiority in leadership amongst us. And we just got to be honest about it. That default setting that we want to herald and hover over top of us, it's not working, man. It's just not working. We talk about the pockets and understand the terminology that y'all use. Y'all said pockets. That means that's a minority of these things happening. It's a minority of men showing up in leadership. You see what I'm saying? So it's not on, a large scale. So when you see women saying, hey, how about we step in that line? You can't fault them for that because in the households, in jobs, they are rising to leadership. So it's not like it's something that's coming out of nowhere. And then every time, we have these conversations, what's happening? There is a comparison of men and women, right? Everything a woman does, we want to say, why can't we do it? Or why they aren't supposed to be accountable like us. We're putting them on the same level as us. We're putting them right on that pedestal. So essentially, by default, we have put them in leadership. If you look at how everything is happening. So it's like situations that we have caused upon ourselves, we are now trying to fight against it when it has already settled in. And I'm glad she brought up, the situation about Q. Once again, that gentleman right there, for me, that's a great man. That's very far and few in between, bro. Yeah, we have other men great in their own right, but what he's doing, that's another level. And we can't make it seem like majority of the men are moving like that. We're not. I wish we were. I wish we were doing following that example. But you had two men up on a panel. We had Q and another man, both of them claiming to be leaders. But we see clearly one that has afforded and benefited their community, one that had afforded and benefited, younger men and children and helped them grow. And then we had another man talking about, I'm trying to help men get enough money to screw women, to F on women. And we're claiming that to be leadership. Y'all don't see what's like, it's like how screwed up that is. We got one man, and then the man that's talking about let's screw on, get money and screw on women. Guess what he said? He said, Q, your school is shit. What? And that's leadership? You told another man that's helping children, boys try to become men, helping us learn, actually doing the actual work, putting his hands, not as just his words, not his thoughts, his hands, and have created something beautiful. It's shit. And this is how men talk to each other. And once again, women are watching us talk to each other like this, putting down great men when they aspire and actually accomplish things. The followers that y'all say, or the women supposed to follow us, look at the leadership that they're being presented. One of the great movies we've seen is Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington. And when the two linebackers came and had a conversation, and what he said, attitude reflect leadership. We complain about the attitude of our women. It's a reflection of our leadership at mass. And we have to be honest about that. Until our leadership change, until the so-called men trying to get enough money to F on women change, and we tell them type of men, like, bro, we're not going for that. You got to get to the back of the line. You feel me? The Q butters, the men that are out here actually putting the time in. You know, if we're going to use them for example, we're going to follow suit with them. But you no longer can stand in that forefront and fake that facade with us no more. It ain't going to work that way. Until we remove the frauds, we're not going to never get nowhere. So we can't come to the table talking about a woman can't be in leadership. And then and I'm going to close it like this. I'm so glad the Sarge shared that. She actually put her son in that program to show that it works. Y'all don't see, like it's right there. She took the initiative to show, hey, not only I'm going to back up this brother, not only do I believe in him, I'm going to actually show and put the most precious thing to me in the program to show that it does work. If that ain't leadership, I don't know what the fuck is.
Bar, perfect place to land it. Go ahead, Jay. Then we got Savage, and then Afro could address us all.
Okay. First of all, the middle class classification. I don't know where people get that evidence from, so I'm just going to assume that they got it from the IRS. I don't know. So let's talk about the classifications of middle class. People that are getting taxed at 12 and 22% are considered middle class. The people that fall in the 12th percentile are between 11,000 and 47,000 annual earnings per year when we file our taxes. The 22% bracket is 47,000 to 100K a year. When we look at the median earnings of a black man, it's around 54,000 a year. That's I mean, for a single person, that's great. If you're taking care of a household, not so much. Depending on, the state or whatever. When you add in the fact that we're a like America is like gung ho about consumerism, you're really not going to be able to make it on 54,000 a year. So it's great that we're classified to be in the middle class, but when you look at it on paper, the middle class is struggling to even provide for themselves, let alone a family. That's the whole issue with people that people have with our government right now. Groceries are high, everything's fucking high. I'm not gawking and making fun of 54K. I'm thinking about the reality of America, the situation in America. Most people can't even find an apartment making 54K. That's the reality of America right now. So I'm not trying to talk shit about how much money you make, but we need to do better. I'm not a man. I don't know what that looks like, but hopefully y'all can figure that out. I know as a woman what that looks like, but I don't know what men should be doing. Because I feel like every time women bring up any type of suggestion, advice, it's well, you don't know a black man's plight, and the black men are actually doing good. Look at these pockets of black men. Like, sure, we can look at those pockets of black men. That's great. I am happy that there are pockets of black men doing what is right. However, the reality of most people's situations is that they're not there. They're not at that point of being able to provide leadership, financially, spiritually, emotional, none of it. People are still trying to figure out how they're going to eat every day, how they're going to pay rent next month. Like, that's the reality. And that's not shitting on any black person. We should know that we need to do better instead of focusing on the fact that we're bringing up the reality of things. It might hurt your feelings that we bringing up the reality of things, but guess what? That's what it is. How do we fix it though? It's not going to be fixed for 100% of people, but for the people who are ready to do the work and be consistent and be confident in the fact that it is possible for you to make it out, what is the solution for them? That should be the focus.
All right, go ahead, Savage.
I just want to agree with Jay. I want to say I agree with Jay on that. Um, it's we see a lot of people trying to talk about reality, and then what gets misconstrued about the whole reality check is that people have feelings. There are too many feelings about what reality really is, and yeah, we have our opinion about things, but reality is just reality, and a lot of people are not going to like it. That's your problem if you can't handle that. You know what I mean? I also wanted to talk about. There's no way we can say that men are just supposed to be the leaders at all, because we were, like I was saying before, we were led by our mothers, and most of us know how to survive, know how to clean ourselves. You know what I mean? We're doing what's right for ourselves, and I would never be in position of survival skills if it wasn't for my mother. You know, the only thing I learned from my father is that he took well care of another family, so he was able to lead that family. So obviously he was a leader. Just wasn't my time, I guess, for him to lead, me. And that's the reality. You know what I'm saying? And if I was an emotional person, I'd be like, oh, God damn, the fuck you, daddy. No, it's not about that. It probably wasn't his time to lead. And that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody has their time. Everybody's capable. I can't say everybody. There's a lot of people out there who are not leaders right now who are capable of being leaders. And there's a lot of women who are capable of being leaders, just like men. A lot of people just don't know their position in life. You know what I mean? Just because you're a leader doesn't mean you can lead a whole community. You could lead people on things that you're good at leading at. This guy could lead people on something he's good at. You know what I mean? We just need to know our position and where we need to lead. Everybody's saying, like I said, everybody's putting a blanket statement on everything. Oh, you're a leader, so that means you have to control everything. No, you only know but so much to lead this way, that way that you know. You know what I mean? So we just need the problem is the communication and the understanding. So yes, women are doing a lot better than most people right now because they're the ones paying attention and want to do better. And we're sitting there, you know what I mean? We're sitting there. To be honest with you, I'm gonna blame more of the men because we know what the fuck we're supposed to do. Why are we doing it? You know what I'm saying? And I understand, like I said before, when we're younger, we didn't have the guidance. But once you reach a certain age and starts looking at the world the way it is, reality check, we need to start stepping up and try to be that leader. And if the women are talking shit about us, that means we're not doing what it takes to lead. And I'm just, realizing that it's not, like I said, I'm not trying to at you or get at you or have a debate. I'm not, you know what I mean? Fuck all that debate shit. If it comes down to a discussion, a conversation on how we can do better, I'm down for that shit. Because sometimes I may not know something that I need to know to better my wanting to be leader skills. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Like, men and women could be leaders, and I'm not trying to get at nobody. It's just what it is. Reality check is what everybody needs. That's what I'm about. A reality check. And most of the time, sometimes I need that also. And that's why I'm up here saying that I want to understand and not try to battle or debate nobody. I'm just trying to understand.
Shout out to Republic Tea Room with the 20 ball. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
Thank you so much for all that you do. When I did research on Creole plantations, especially in New Orleans, historically they gave the reins to the smartest child, most capable one. Wasn't about sex or gender of the child. You earn respect. It is not given. Woo. Some powerful words. And women should have by now earned the respect. They should have. And for some reason, we are dropping the bomb on giving them the respect that they have earned. Afro Nerd, you have the floor. We're going to hopefully you could address everybody. Go ahead, Afro Nerd.
Okay, so I'm going to start calling you Derek Jackson 2.0. You just this kind of leaning on the matriarchy is like, instead of just being truthful, you can be you can talk about facts and be not really gender specific, right? Because I know we seem to be leaning on this. I find it odd that you have women who are very prideful in being leaders, but then they still want somebody to lead them. Like you can't have it both ways. You can't say we're capable of leading and then have critique that men should be leading us too. Like you can't have two leaders like that. Someone's got to be second in command, first command, however you want to divvy up your leadership. So be it. But this idea that when you talked about women are dating men of all heights, and we understand exceptions, and we also understand the rule. And there's all littered through social media, YouTube, and in real life, you see, even if the guy is not tall, he's still taller than the female. There's a submissive and then there's a dominant, right? So what you're doing is you're kind of playing favorites when the data doesn't really support that, right? So again, I acknowledge that there are exceptions, right? But there's also the rule. Now, when I go into black male success, right? Just as there's black female success, let's actually start to run down some stats as to what's actually happening with us, because I think black folks don't even know this stuff. I think black people don't even know this stuff. I think we are clearly misled by the media, and we know why. Just like J. Edgar Hoover had a thing about Malcolm X, he had a thing about Dr. King. This has been verified. Just like you have the Epstein files, there's files on black people, right? And we pretend that these files don't exist. So let's go into, because I'm not into this negative confirmation bias. Like some of male and females on this program and on YouTube, they have a negative slant and they won't listen to the positive. So I'm going to run down this real quick. So this is what's going on with black males in America, right? It says high school graduation rates. Black male high school graduation has risen for 20 years straight. National black male graduation, this is 2023, 70 to 72%, up from 48 to 52% in the early 2000s. Black boys have shown the fastest improvement of any group since 2000. Then it says college enrollment and degrees. Black male college enrollment has nearly doubled since the early 90s. More black men are in college than in prison. Now, we've known that mantra has been corrected, Sharon, because we used to hear there's more black men in prison than in college. But when you run by age, well, no. You're not going to have a 40-year-old college student necessarily, right? So when you run through 18 to 23, all right, well, actually, there's more black men in college than there are in prison. It's STEM growth. Black male STEM undergraduate degrees have increased 65% since the early 2000s. Engineering degrees earned by black men rose 20% in the last decade. Computer science degrees for black males have risen steadily for 15 years. Then he goes into income and wealth. 60 to 65% of black males aged 25 to 54 are in the workforce full time. Black middle-class households have tripled since the 1980s. Earnings, 50 to 80 grand median, depending on the field. Black male income has increased every decade since 1970s. It goes into entrepreneurship. It says black business ownership, especially male founders, has exploded 40% since 2020. That's in the last 5 years. And I'll leave it at this. It says black-owned employer firms generate over $200 billion annually. Real estate, tech startups, logistics, freight, entertainment, professional services. So there are things that are happening when you run the numbers. There are things that are positive about black men and black women. We rather talk about little Dirk, right? We'd rather talk about the minstrels that are on these programs where black women are pulling out their hair and black men are talking nonsense and they're cursing, and even on YouTube they're cursing, they're vulgar, instead of talking about the actual sad things that we can be proud of. There is a business like World Star Hip Hop, like Media Takeout, to keep us like dancing monkeys. There's a lot of money in that. I'm coming in with the facts. We know Negroes are out of pocket. We know that too. That's happening too. Two things can happen at the same time. Can you deconstruct what I said, or are you going to keep on pandering? I dropped the mic. That's it.
Yeah.
So today, all the things that you are saying that people are doing, we didn't do that on this panel at all. So does those things happen? Yes. But for the most part, we are attempting to, like today, we are being focused and we are sticking to the topic. We haven't been actually throwing any insults at anybody today. We have not been part of this minstrel thing that you're talking about. Nobody has brought up any kind of rappers or any of those things. We are actually dealing with some things that possibly we dealt with in our lifetime and working our way through it and seeing how we can move forward to have a better understanding. So young men won't be bucking up against their mother, especially the mother, the parent that is there. And how maybe if it's possible that women do take care of the child from 1 to 12, and then the father have enough wherewithal and he's evolved, he could take over from 13 and to 18. That's what me and Savage was talking about. And when we were talking about Truth said it so beautifully. Like, yes, we understand there's pockets of great young black men doing great things. And we even have in communication with one. His name is Q Butter. However, that is not the general sense of black men. He is an outlier. And it is okay for us to recognize that as well. And if we are going to deal in the truth, then therefore we as black men, we need to be pushing leadership in a proper way. And one thing about leadership, you got to learn how to follow first. And you know, to learn how to follow great leadership. So if somebody is telling you to do something and you can see that is a success rate behind that advice, we need to get young men to understand you need to take and heed to that advice. And as simple as that.
Hey, Sharon. So I wanted to ask.
I'm bring you in a second.
Say that again.
Yeah, get you. I'll just
I think, and I've said this a couple times, that when we have conversations, a lot of times we speak past each other. Like you stated, like sometimes we'll say stuff and the very thing that we're speaking about that didn't even happen on the platform because we're so used to having these type of conversations where it happened. And it's a lot of conflating what I call the 3 R's: reason, right, and reality. So, and the reason why I'm bringing that up, because I would like to ask, Afro Nerd. Yeah. What is the way he sees the world from his POV? Does it need to change? And why is the world in a bad place? What's the reason? What's the reality of the situation? What does he see as a whole? And what would be the right way to go from there?
Okay. I'm going to try to be as quick and succinct on this one. That's a major league question you're asking me, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to say, we're talking about specifically to black people because you talked about the world. So you want to talk about how can black people improve this situation?
The black world.
All right.
Yeah.
Part of it is we have to start to deal with certain truths, right? We have to start dealing with data. We got to get away from our feelings. There's oftentimes I've heard things on Black YouTube. I'm talking about not Sharon's show, but other programs that when you start bringing in books and people get turned off, they don't want to really get into what's actually happening with us and where we can actually improve. Part of our problem is we have to understand that there's been a centuries-long campaign on black folks. There's such a thing as anti-blackness. Just like there's anti-Semitism, there's anti-blackness. And it permeates in all kinds of areas in our lives. Now, it doesn't mean that you leave that as an excuse that, well, I can't do anything. I can't get a job. I can't wake up in the morning and go about my business because of anti-blackness. But you need to be aware of what it is and how to address it. There are things that we're told to do and expectations for black folks that are distinctly different from everyone else. That's a problem. I heard something one time where talking about how black boys are raised differently than black girls. See, that's an element that was discussed on the show that no one wants to talk about. They think that we're just one gender and that there aren't differences in the genders and that we're not treated differently. Even with black boys and black girls, even though they're coming from the same household, they get different instructions. With Shaquille O'Neal about a year ago openly said that, well, I'm going to help my daughters. I'm going to take care of them. They're going to get their degrees. I'm going to make sure they're straight. Then he says in the same breath, well, my boys, whatever with them, they'll figure it out. So he said, well, okay, I'm giving different rules for these two. And he says that as a successful black man, I don't have to worry about my boys. I don't have to worry about them getting educated. I don't have to help them. So, but I'm actively going to make sure and give enough focus on his black girls, which is right. But why can't he have keep that same energy with his black boys? Because the white males in there are doing that somewhat. Trump became who he was because his father gave him $1 million like 50 years ago. Right? So we're not even doing what other people are doing. The Jewish father helps his Jewish son. He's not giving these weird gender rules. Right? But in a black family, we kind of, well, you got to get it out the mud. And then our sisters, we actually help them. There's focus on them. Right? So we have to be honest about that. But with black, to get more into your question, black people are going to have to figure out how to circulate their own money and to appreciate legacies. Because what's happening is I see things all the time that are money making. But what we do is we dismiss it. We call classic hip hop old school. Oh, that's old school. The white man calls his rock music classic rock, and classic rock sells. You never stop seeing Kurt Cobain t-shirts. You never stop seeing Elvis t-shirts. You never stop seeing the Beatles t-shirts. The Beatles are still alive to white people, right?
We get the point. Can you land your plane?
I'm going to land it, but the black and I'm just giving you the differences with how some people succeed and how we're not. We have to start changing our programming and our framework so that we can succeed. And part of it is we're going to have to be honest about a situation. We're going to have to actually start to list our accomplishments so people are aware. Okay, black folks are actually doing certain things, and we need to start to cut out the things that are dysfunctional. We have to start addressing it directly, the dysfunctional stuff that's holding us back. And one of it, and I'll land the plane here, is we have to figure out a way to capitalize on our own product. Everyone else makes money from us, but we don't make money from us. Not directly. It's always somebody else with their pockets, with your hands in your pocket, but you're not allowed to put your own hands in your own pocket. I'll land the plane on that.
And and I just want to say this real quick. He did not answer none of the 3 R's. And I just wanted to make that clear.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, he asked me about what can black people do to change their condition. And I mentioned it. You just
pause there. So maybe you misunderstood. So tell them the 3 R's again, and then we're gonna give it to Jay, and then we're gonna introduce mulattoism into the conversation.
Right. So you said he is me. I asked you, what's the reason why we are in the situation that we're in right now? We're talking about the state. The reality, what do you see from your POV, and what would be the right thing to do to make things better?
And I answered it. You just didn't listen to me.
Oh, no, I listened very carefully. You went on a spew and things. You went on a tangent, but you did not answer it. But it's okay. If you felt as though you answered it, that's fine. You know,
I told you that we have to recirculate the dollar in the black community. Right? I said that we have to actually focus. I said that we have to actually.
I heard you. I said
right. So that's not answering your question. So that's not answering.
Okay, hold on.
Black business recirculating the dollar.
After nerd. So recycling the dollar is what part of the 3 R's?
Recirculating.
No, right. What part of the 3 R's is that?
I'm confused. Why do I have that? That's a general answer. Like why do you mean it?
And that's the point.
Yeah, so what does it say one time? Reasoning, the reason why.
Reason, reality.
Okay, that too. When I said the reason is that there was a focus on black dysfunction for centuries.
So the reason why we
mentioned the government. Hold on, I mentioned the government.
We got you. We heard what you said.
Allow me to get.
Yes, no, but you're quick to say no.
After nerd. People
I didn't say no.
Let's slow it down so people can understand your answer.
Funny. This is funny.
So I heard you. So
no, you didn't. You heard me, but you didn't listen. There's a difference. You know that, right? You heard me, but you didn't listen.
After nerd, don't be so reactive. So the reason is that we focus on black degeneracy, anti-blackness. Correct? That's the reason.
One of the reasons, yes.
Okay, that's one of the reasons. So now what's the second one? Truth, reality.
Reality. Your
Okay, so
POV.
now what is the reality of
The reality,
power?
I said that you have the reality is there's successes and there are failures, and both operate in the same tandem. That's the reality. Reality is
Okay, stop
the,
there.
the, hold
Okay.
on. The
Okay,
stats.
okay,
Hold on.
we got you.
Matt, you
Hold
do
on.
this. Hold on. So
We
you're
got
clear.
you. We
I'm
tryna-
clear.
hold on.
Can I be clear about that?
You're not,
You're ready to
hold on.
interrupt me when I'm
You gotta
answering the
allow
question.
me to. You gotta allow me to
Go
get you to
ahead.
be clear. I'm attempting to get you to be clear. That's what I'm attempting to do because you're not understanding that
Crazy.
people
Go
are.
ahead, man.
You're not
Go ahead,
understanding
man.
people are misunderstanding you, and I'm trying to get them to understand so it could be clear and concise for them.
Yeah.
All right.
This is remedial.
And now,
Go
what
ahead.
was the third one? Truth.
And right. What would be the right way, or if you can provide a solution to fix the problem?
There we go.
Well, as I said, the solution would be to capitalize on our IPs, on classical. When I went into this whole thing about classical rock, you thought I was going off the deep end. What I'm saying is, we have things that we can capitalize in our community, and we don't do it, right?
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
in other words, so when I talked about we're dismissive about certain things that we can make business ideas out of because we think that it's old school. We have content. We have all kinds of things that are cultural that we don't capitalize on, that other people capitalize on. If we
Gotcha.
capitalize on our own stuff, that would be a correction.
Okay.
Is that right? Is that clear enough for you?
Yeah.
That's
That's
what I'm
what
trying
I
to get you. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that, like, I wasn't trying to stop you. I was trying to get you so the audience could understand what was your reason, so they can have a agreement or a disagreement about your 3 R's. So that's all I was attempting to do. We are not attempting to attack you here. Nobody's attacking nobody. We are just getting out our thoughts today, and it is okay. You are not being attacked. You are not on the other channels where they just dive into attacking your points. Go ahead, Jay. I know you have some words to say, and then we're gonna bring in Pan Mulattoism into the show, and Savage could rebuttal after that.
What I don't appreciate is that when we have this conversation, people just want to stick to their own perception of what reality is.
I was asked that though. I was hold on. I was
Wait,
asked my
hold on, I'm
POV.
not
Please let her
done.
land her plane.
I'm not
I know,
done.
but when she
I'm
says
not
people,
done.
he literally asked me my
Afro
POV. What is
nerd,
my
I'm not
POV?
done. Afro nerd,
I will
I'm
bring
not
it
Bro,
back.
do
done.
you know what
You're not being
self-control
attacked.
is?
I'm not done.
Do you know
Self-control.
what POV is?
Okay.
Afro nerd,
Self-control.
I'm not done.
Self-control. Self-control.
Did you kick him off?
I did not.
Oh. Well, he left.
Don't be giggling.
So, yeah, he was focused on the I was talking about his perception before, y'all asked him his point of view on, like, before that, he was talking about his perception of the reality when it comes to black men and their height. Meanwhile, most black men fall between 5'7" and 5'10".
Right.
Over half. That's 60% of y'all. So the reality, the true reality is most black women are with regularly sized men. Like,
Right.
we're with the 60 percentile of men. The minority of y'all are below 5'7", and the minority of y'all are above 5'10".
Right.
So I don't know why. Like, it's like the emphasis is on, like, deducing. How do I explain it? Like, the focus is on our fantasy of what we want a man to be, and not the reality of who we get with and we finally become attracted to and fall in love with. They're just focused on the sexual attraction, because obviously a lot of men see love through a lens of sexual attraction and nothing else. So it makes sense why he's so focused on the fact that the dominant versus the submissive, and like, you're focused on just the sexual piece of a relationship. And you're not focused on the fact of why women truly do fall in love with the men that they fall in love with. And it's not because this nigga was 6 feet tall. Her coochie got wet probably because he was 6 feet tall. But that's not why I'm marrying this man. Like, I don't, like, why are we focused on like the elementary pieces of humans? You can't change your height, but you could definitely change your character. But they don't talk about changing your character to be a good man. They talk about the fact that we need to change our preferences. When, sir, we already do. If you asked, she may not hurt your feelings like that, but if you asked a woman, if you could pick a man off of Amazon, his traits and qualities, what would you choose? I bet it won't be you, unless you're trying to save your feelings. I bet it won't look like you. I bet his package might be. I'm just saying, it may not be you, because everybody got their sexual fantasy. Even men, y'all be fantasizing about women that don't look like your woman all motherfucking day. But guess what? You chose a woman to. You chose your wife. You chose the one that you fell in love with for different reasons. So that's what I mean by he's focused on his perception of the reality of things instead of focusing on what's actually fucking happening around his ass. It's like it's not happening. It's like these women are ending up with regular ass men. It's crazy.
Perfect. Welcome to the show, Pam Mulattoism. Good day, sir. What was
Peace,
your
peace,
thought?
family. And thanks for having me. I'll make my comment brief, and I know it's a lot of noise around me. Please forgive me. Now, to address the topic, which is bending the knee to the female leaders, I definitely must acknowledge that there are certainly many female matriarchs, many matriarchs, for sure, that have, through their actions, earned respect from us as men. Also, we have to acknowledge that every man isn't a leader. Every man isn't a patriarch. So just like you have degenerate men that engage in violence or the drug trade or homicides, you have degenerate women that engage in a lot of these different acts, such as deleting their own babies and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So to sum it all up, yes, many women definitely are matriarchs, and they deserve that respect. And every man is not a patriarch. So I actually agree with the title, but I just would not say all women are leaders. No, never. I would never say that. But many are, and they deserve the respect of being a leader.
All right, that was clear and concise. I like it. I like it. Hey, we always been on the show for 3 hours and we got 3 financial supports. That is up to y'all how y'all feel about the show. Appreciate y'all. We didn't even get to. We got over 100 people watching, but we don't have 100 likes. We could get some shares. It's a lot of things that you can do to support good productive builds, because I believe this is a great productive build. Everybody's getting their thoughts out. We have proper pushback. Everybody is attempting to substantiate their arguments without it getting too crazy. Savage had a couple of moments where he was about to, then he reeled it back in. And so I want to shout out to Savage for that, for keeping his composure as well. Because a couple times he almost was. He said, you know what? We are having a productive build. So I just want to acknowledge when, because in these conversations, sometimes when it feels like we're not getting our point across, it almost feels like we're attacked. But when we allow the person to get their full thought out, maybe Afronet would have realized that we were not attacking him at all, right? Because he somehow he felt like he was attacked in this moment, and nobody actually attacked him. It was a very interesting situation that just happened. It's weird that keeps happening, Savage. I don't know how we're gonna cure that that idea that just because we have opposing arguments, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are attacking each other. You know what I'm saying?
I think that people just need to be checked and silenced sometimes. And sometimes give them an opportunity to check themselves. Just like like I said, I did. I was about to go, but I was like, let me just listen to everything. Let me just hear it out, because I'm not the type that want to sit there and be all like wrong. Mm-hmm. But if I am, I want to be able to know like what I'm wrong about. You know what I mean? And then fix it. I'm all about critiquing myself. So it is what it is. And I could be, going ham on the chat right now if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that because, I grew up from when I first started my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? I used to just spaz on everything, but I realized that there's going to be people in the chat who are idiots. and just say shit just to say shit. You know what I mean? And they try to get their only purpose in life is to get a reaction out of you. I mean, I love it because I do the same shit. They haven't seen the savage part yet. You know what I mean?
So I think it's interesting today, right? So today I didn't hear not one person today say Sharon is attempting to have a productive and positive bill to get cash apps or super chats. Not one person said that.
I will say you are attempting to have a productive conversation, but not to get the cash apps.
And that is the issue that we have as a people. Why they never assume, right, that I'm attempting to have great conversations, great builds, also to make money as well. Why they believe that I'm just trying to create. When if we would have gone to some argumentative thing, right? If we would have been screaming and yelling and calling each other out our names, they only doing that for cash apps. But when we having a whole 2.5 hours of productive build, no one person would say, damn, Sharon is doing a productive build for cash apps and super chats and likes and shares and likes and views.
And this is why I don't pay attention to the chat, because they'll pay you for yelling and screaming, and they'll say the dumbest shit ever. But when it's productive, they sit back, still say the dumbest shit, whatever, and don't pay for it. It's ridiculous.
So I just want to clear the air. So if I do have a show and it gets wild and contentious and people start spending money, I do not want to hear not one effing person say I did it because of some chats, some views, some money. None of that. I don't want to never hear it again. Because for the past 3 streams, all of my streams been the green truth. Nobody fight with Diva been holding it down. She been on her pro-blackness lately.
I want to know if Jay is trying to challenge me with profile pics because she changed her goddamn mind.
Look what the first thing they would say.
That's what I'm saying. They don't. That's their job. Their job is to do dumb shit in the chat.
But I still appreciate at least commenting in the chat. I appreciate it. Hopefully you hit the like button or share button, because they also forgot that I said, right? He said drive begging. Yeah, so I'm drive begging for a like. I couldn't get to 100 likes. I'm drive begging for shares. I don't even have one share. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the things that I'm drive begging for is free to you. It's absolutely 100% free.
As I said, idiotic. Hey, I did enjoy this conversation. I learned a lot, and I appreciate you for having it.
Yes, sir. This is what I attempt to do all the time, but people have a certain idea of me, and so they try to stare up. Just like kind of like what Afro Nerd kind of did. He tried to he's put some other show into this show, and he's like, "Yeah, we didn't do that today. We didn't mention no rappers and that. We always talking about our experiences and what we see. That's all we did. We shared today."
He sounds familiar. He sounds like he gets rowdy a lot, though. He sounds familiar. I think I heard him on a couple. Yeah, but he's in that. It sounds like he's in that mentality. I believe he can say something or have a decent conversation. But it seemed like he came up with that. That
animosity already.
Yeah, that come from they're not used to being heard a lot, and when people come on here, they look at this as an open forum. So they like everything that I can't talk about in my actual real life and nobody's listening to me, I'm going to come on here and get somebody to listen to me on here. And if I don't, I'm gonna scream at you. So that it's crazy. I was did you hear my question, Savage? Because I would like to.
No, you didn't ask it.
The 3 R's.
Oh, about that? Not really. Sorry, I've been.
Yeah. So, what is the reason our situation is the way it is from your POV? The reality that you see. Like, tell me a description of what you see the world is, and then give me a right way to go, a solution that will solve the problem.
I would say the 3 things that are a detriment to that is lack of communication skills, lack of understanding skills, and too many people believe in social media and not doing the research. How we could improve
You
that?
said that's the reason.
All right, what was the first R you told me?
So you said the reason why, you know, our situation as far as with our community, the division between, you know, men and women,
Yeah.
you know, the problem of fatherlessness, you know, the problem that, you know, men aren't leaders, you know, so on and so forth. What's the reason for that? I'll start there. What's the reason for that?
It's a lack of communication and understanding who and guidance of who we are, of what we're supposed to be. Like, we're not the same as African Americans are not the same as everybody else. We already know that, and we need different. We need a different community. Like, we need to be a community of our own, and realize that we have to work. We have to work together. We don't. We stop worrying about comparing ourselves to everybody else. We're different, so we have to start working with and for each other, and stop acting like we should be segregating ourselves when we work better together than anything.
So you saying so basically I'm gonna try to you know compact it. You're saying the reason why we're in our situation is because of lack of communication and because of division.
Division, yep, division. We don't want to deal with. We don't want to work with each other.
Okay.
And we don't want to see we don't want to see the good. Like, we're not trying to see the good in the people who don't know how to act out there. You know what I mean? Like, because these people they're not guided well, so that's why they're acting this way. And we're not willing to sit down and work with those people.
Okay. And from a reality situation, what exactly do you see? Like, give examples of the problems that you see in the world.
Example is on these panels, and like I said, even in the chat, there's nobody are spewing. You know what? I see that you didn't see this part. I see that, you know, maybe you need to be guided on this one, or maybe some solutions. I don't see too many solutions in the chat, and those are the people that are watching, and that's why we're up here, for people to see different perspectives and try to come up with a solution. But I had that conversation with Nidus last night, and he's like, nobody's here for solutions. They're here for the hit to the likes. They're here for the drama, the action, and all that stuff.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I wasn't at. That's why I'm saying I'm just dealing with you directly. So what the reality of what you see? Like, what do you see in the world?
Nobody wanting to help. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about nobody.
Give me an example of that. Give me like where you see nobody didn't want to help somebody.
At the smallest degree is just even advice. Just advice, instead of arguing or seeing who get the one up on a debate, is advice. Is looking for advice, or looking for a better solution, or looking to understand your situation and say, oh, because a lot of people are stuck in their own situation, right? And not trying to look outside the box, or someone else's feelings, or someone else's state of mind, or someone else's upbringing. They're just willing to just be like, hey, it doesn't work that way in mine. That's not what I saw. So fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. Actually, I'm dealing with this. So what can I do? Oh, you don't know shit. Oh, I guess I'm just going to be a shitty person, and maybe I'll treat you like shit. You know what I mean? So that's what it ends up being. Nobody's there to just be a better person. Everybody just wants taps and likes and no solutions, and wants to talk shit.
All right.
I'm good at that, but I'm just saying, I'm looking for, I'm trying to better myself. I'm looking for solutions.
All right. So I do it like this.
Am I not answering correctly?
Yeah, it was kind of it's kind of sort of like what Afro Nerd did. So I'll give you an example. We saw the Greg Adams and Andrew Wilson debate, right?
I didn't see that. Sorry.
Okay. Well, Sharon covered it. And I'm going to use this. This is the reality of the situation. So we had two men that would consider themselves leaders, you know, prominent figures in YouTube, has large followings. And when they came to the forum, came to the table, so to speak, to have a conversation about marriages and, you know, the problem with it, or how to make it better, or how it can be beneficial to men. We had one man using ad hominems, couldn't answer questions directly, didn't know what terminology was, didn't know the definitions of certain words, could not properly use them in a purposeful way, could not contextualize. kept repeating the same thing over and over and over again for every subject matter. And then we had another person that actually came there, provided definitions, used things contextually, gave the person ample time to get himself together, wasn't using a whole lot of ad hominems, and was trying to ask them, please, could we get to the subject matter? Could we address what we're talking about? Do you have a solution? If you do not have a solution, why are you rejecting mine? And they could not give a concise answer. This is the reality of the situation. So from my POV, that was a reality thing that I saw out of my eyes to show the deficit of leadership in the Black community. That's one of the examples. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
So that was an actual living example that I saw, a reality that happened.
I don't know if y'all will agree, but what I see is a lot of people don't want to admit they're wrong. A lot of people don't want to admit they don't know. Like I see in these spaces, people look like they feel like they're forced to know everything, and they really don't, and they're not willing to bend the knee, and say that, what, I really don't know that. Explain to me, or help me get to know that. Everybody's just like, no, that's what it is. That's what it is. No, like, you really don't know. You know what I'm saying? And then be like, what's your resources? Well, I don't have to get well, you expect people to listen and take your advice and follow you like the leaders were looking for. So give us proof and give us a reason to follow you. Give us a reason, give us some proof to show that you are right. And we have a chance to follow you, and that this other person that you're trying to debate is wrong, or y'all on the same page.
Okay, so all right, let's just skip over that because I'll probably.
So am I not, like, I don't understand.
So let's skip over that. Okay, give me a solution.
Your answer to that question, so I understand.
Huh?
What is your answer to the question, so I can understand what you're trying to get at?
Yeah, I gave it to you.
So I'm not answering it correctly then.
So I gave you a direct situation that actually happened that we all recognize, and that it actually happened in reality, and that it clearly shows a problem and deficit in our leadership. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's a reality-based thing. It was something that we could see, we heard, we can remember. So give me an actual tangible example that we could hear, we can see, we can research. It's factual.
Well, right now I can't come up with something.
Okay, great. Okay.
But what I can do is give you a basis to look at down the road of panels that people don't want to concede on what they don't know. They want to act like that is the truth and not try to get the truth. But if I'm not answering right, then it is what it is.
That's awesome. Yeah, sometimes we could just say, you know what, I don't have an example right now, because sometimes the example we know we have examples, but the exact one to prove the point, it just missing.
I don't know.
Also, let me just shout out to my girl Corinne. She says, for the church donation. Thank you. She sent that yesterday after the show. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Shout out to everybody that's doing whatever they can do to show love and to support the show. Every last little bit of it count. The likes, the shares, the dollar amounts, everything helps. The comments, all those things help. So I appreciate every last person that do any kind of contribution to the show. I truly appreciate it a lot. It's not easy. Thank you so much. Let me pass the ball into Detroit Coalition. Good day, sir. What is your thoughts? And then we're going to attempt to finish this goddamn review of me versus Obsidian versus Q Butter versus the wrong class. I'm going to give him his props too, because he put the beats on Obsidian as well. Wrong class. Sometimes you're correct.
Hey, Sharon, I'm going to go get breakfast, man. I'm going to holler at you. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate y'all.
It's on you, Detroit Coalition.
Oh, my bad, brothers. Hey, good evening or afternoon, everybody. So, as far as your topic, as far as bending the knee to women, I think that honestly, I think that no matter this question of men being leaders and women not being leaders, to me sounds like a white European male discussion. And what I mean by that is the ones who are promoting that like men are superior the most, in at least in the last, like, let's say 2,000 years, have been white men, because their power structure was built on that, where, you know, they have to be in control the whole time of everything, right? When you go to African culture, you know, different people would be in leadership. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about, and I heard somebody say this about, like, in your household and your family, whoever the kid is that just is the most educated, the brightest, the one who can make the most responsible decisions, whether it was male or female, was going to be the leader of the family. Let's think about, like, your parents have gotten to their 70s or 80s. You know, those kids of those parents, it was going to be the one kid that was like the smartest, the, you know, most dedicated or whatever, disciplined. That was going to be the one that was going to take over the family. This conversation about males having to be the leaders, you know, that's not something that has originated out of the Black community, because the Black community has always looked at women as, you know, not, let's say that you can't share everything. Obviously, men are, you know, have, you know, you know, more physical strength and things like that. So and as far as security of the house and things like that, those are things that just naturally would be in nature. The male is the natural protector of the family, right? But we're not animals, you know. Well, some act like it, but we're not animals, right? So in our culture, it's not like that, unless we fall into this whole, like I said, European way of thinking about how to run a community or run a society and stuff like that. So it's never been, I don't think, an issue of bending the knee to women. It's been bending the knee to a leader that could do the job. And sometimes the one who can't do the job is the one who's pushing the most, saying that these other folks are inferior and I'll do a better job of it. And then we get caught up in it because of this American experiment, where it seems like everything that's European is the right way to go. And then we'll have these males, these Black males now, that fall into that same thing, where they think that this is the way of leadership. This is how you're supposed to run everything. And the reason why we're not successful in this and that is because we gotten away from these core values. They'll tell you that, you know, since women have gone to work, you know, in the 40s and 50s and 60s or whatever, that our economy is tanked and everything like that, and things are so bad and the home isn't that good. And this was kind of the conversation I brought up the other day when I called in. We won't talk about the things that have pushed us out of, you know, more stable communities and things like that. We'll point inward at, like, the people around us, but don't understand that the pressures have always come from outside the community first. So, you know, when I see somebody like Afro Nerd come in, you know, first off, you know, I just, you know, I'm not going to have an FBA conversation today. I'm not going to have a Black conservative conversation today. But even that is a way of trying to, you know, turn around and point a finger at a community and say, you know, I'm not a part of that. Like, that's them. You know what I mean? When we're all in here together, unless, you know, we start turning our backs on each other, which I've seen that go on more and more, at least online. And I think we've gotten into this thing where, you know, now we accept online as the reality, when the whole time, and even right now, it hasn't changed. It's not reality. Everybody's shining up the best part of their life to show online. I'm not on camera right now because I ain't shined up my room yet. So there's a reason, you know, so why everybody's doing all these things, that it's the appearance that people are presenting online. And if you don't have anything else to, you know, if you don't know anything better, then you're just going to attach to that. I did want to, and I'll like, I know I can go on because I almost killed your closing of your show the other night too, Sherelle. So I do apologize for that. But I want to address the 3 R's too, because even that, like, I'm having a hard time of not combining reason and reality. So if you can explain kind of the difference of the reason and the reality of the things that are going on in the community. I want to answer the 3R question, but I'm just having trouble separating those two.
I like that. And that's what we need more of, just honesty. That's what we need, and that's how we can get things move forward. I think a lot of times people feel as if we talk about subjects too much. The reason why we talk about subjects so-called too much is because we want the resolve to those topics, and we have not got there yet. It's the same thing with relationships. A problem in your relationship will keep coming up if you never get a resolve from it. And this is why a lot of times men would say, "Hey, I cheated on her, but it was 5 years ago. Why she keep bringing it up? She ain't never got resolved from it." So when your ass go to the store, she's like, "Well, was that bitch at the store when you was getting those cookies?" Because you didn't have no resolve to it. So the reason why we continue to have these conversations and it moves, it does move the needle a little bit forward, is because we care about it. And to be honest, relationships is tied into your political position. Your relationship is also tied to your economic position as well. So to think that I'm talking about one is not talking about the other is a mistake. Talking about your relationships with human beings and your woman or your family, it absolutely is attached to the economy, and it's absolutely attached to politics. Shout out to the Big Bad Bull. Big Bad Bull says, "Cat, what you mean it's cat, Big Bad Bull?" Shout out to Big Bad Bull. He was the sponsor of the last stream. Thank you so much, Big Bad Bull, for showing love and
Hey,
support.
Brace,
And
you gotta give my
also,
son.
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
I think that's what you was just checking me on.
Yeah. Hey,
I was right. Hey, look, I was right on time too, right? Shout out to it said situation song, please.
yes,
I
sir.
felt it coming. As soon as I pressed it, you pressed me. That was funny. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for your love and support, my brother. And I do appreciate the amount that you said. Let me make sure that's out there said too. He said $3.14. That is a representation of something. Now, can y'all understand what that's a representation of? Shout out to Jay. She came
I'm
on.
glad you picked up on it.
Jay, and it is important too, right? Like, appreciate you. Jay, what is your thoughts? I see you hopped off mute. What's your thoughts before we get into back into the review? Because people do want us to finish the review as well.
Oh, well, go ahead and finish the review.
No, I want your thought. You came off mute. I want to know what was your thought.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, patriarchy is part of colonialism. That's not like a black thing. It's European. It's European centric. That's why every time colonialism happens, somehow patriarchy becomes a part of people's everyday lives. Like even in African countries before colonialism, women were included in leadership. Women had their own councils. There were some tribes that were matriarchal. Like it's, I don't know. I don't know why people don't get the correlation of patriarchy being literally a European idea, but whatever. Let's talk about the conclave. You going to the conclave?
I don't know. People are saying that I should go and report back, but they might make you sign something where you can't even talk about it. I don't know. I'm scared. I don't want nobody to be,
I don't know. They said they doing the Lord's work at the conclave, Sharon. You may get a second wind of life. They
it sounds a
baptize
little,
people in the word of the manosphere.
It sounds a little sketchy to me. But if
If they could, they probably add the book of Kevin Samuels might have had into the Bible. They could.
If it is getting meant to be positive and productive, then I'll be all for it. But I just don't know. I don't see the results that he be talking about.
I think all men should go to the conclave. Because apparently you should be fashionably advised by a gay man. You should be wearing what gay men advise is good fashion for men to wear now. You know, like do that. Shout out to the conclave.
I'm so thankful you brought that up.
Y'all so scared of gay men when it comes to them possibly flirting with you, but be in close proximity with your clothes off. Makes
But
sense.
You ain't
But you
you
want to
see
bet
what I'm
that
saying?
grinder crash around that conclave.
Y'all so scared of gay men. Gay men
Oh,
advising you on
Bro.
fashion.
yeah. Y'all
And this
crazy.
is y'all leader. This is y'all great, fearless leader.
Oh shit. He said they
Interesting.
crashed when they did that conclave. That is hilarious. Oh
That is
man.
very interesting.
All right, let's see. Where's damn, do I got the video up? Hold on, let me see. I don't even got that video. I gotta go find it again. That shit is hilarious though. Let me see. Let me bring it back up. But I did find it. What that means? Oh, and we could have ate that without cleaning it. Oh no. Yeah, that'd have been crazy. That would have been crazy. But what the hell? I'm struggle streaming. Struggle streaming right now. Yes, my sister come and help me out while I'm struggle streaming. Good day, MJ.
The Sarge is back.
MJ, you go into the conclave, they allow women at the conclave.
Absolutely not.
He
That's a hell to the nah.
Nah.
Yeah, I ain't going.
I think this is around where we were at. MJ, you want to say anything before we try to get back to the review? I guess she's good for the meantime. Yeah? Is it back up?
No, I'm good. You go ahead. You go ahead. I'm listening in.
All right, so I believe this is where we left off last time. So we're going to finish up. We're going to get into the part where Q Butter and Obsidian had the conversation. Truth actually brought that part up earlier in the stream today. And also we're going to get to the part where finally the wrong class got something right. And we're going to discuss that as well. It took them years, but finally.
No captivity.
Information man.
No captivity.
Andrea, if you got some comments, I'm gonna come to you since you're the only lady on the show right now. I'm coming to you after Information Man. Shout out to Information Man. Go ahead and
Hey,
shoot.
how you
Information Man.
I just want to say that what I don't understand is that as a man, you can improve upon yourself without putting down black women or women that you don't want. What I've observed over the years within the manosphere or with brothers online is that it's too much talk. It's supposed to be, I mean, people are saying, well, it's about self-improvement, black men supporting black men. But what I observed was more people just spending more time talking about women that they don't want, that they don't have any desire about. And then what you do is
I ain't gonna lie, that's a very good point.
That's a bar. I like this man. Who this man is?
His name is Information Man.
It's only
That's
been like
exactly
10
the
seconds.
point.
I appreciate that. Yes.
Yeah, that's that's the main issue most people have with the nonsense that they are spewing in the manosphere. It ain't talking about men, it's talking about women. And how these men are comparing, they don't even realize how they comparing themselves to women in the first goddamn place. And that's another reason why we know the women must be the leaders, because they always comparing themselves to.
Ooh, damn. StreamYard did him dirty.
StreamYard guy, release my brother ASAP. He should come back in a couple of minutes. But yeah, I mean, Information Man was right. We've been saying it so many times. A lot of men in this space been saying it to these other men as well. Like, if you're so against these women, right, or black women or whatever not, why are they always on your mind though? Like, why are you stay talking about them? Like, I don't talk about people I'm not interested in. I don't talk about people
Because
I
they
don't fuck
desire
with.
these women and they want to turn that hoe into a housewife, but it be acceptable. Because he don't want to deal with the extra baggage that she got. They just want her to be a hoe, but in the confines of being his wife. Because they sexually desire that woman so
Absolutely.
much that they're willing to trap her in a marriage. That's why.
You know what? And I totally agree with that, Miss Jalen, of Jalen. It's because, like, these men, like, if you really look at what type of women that they're interested in and what they talk about, is always the ones that they want to crucify, though, right? Like, if you ask them what their perfect or ideal woman to do this and do that, she literally is for the streets, if you really think about it. But now you will put the label of wife on her and think that makes her any different. You think her character is going to be any different. It's not. And that's a problem, because it's like you're you're trying to convince women it's okay to be a hoe, but you have to be somebody's wife to be a hoe. But you know what I'm saying? But as soon, but as soon as you try to be a hoe for yourself, oh hell no, women, we need to condemn your motherfucking ass. You only have a problem with the women who own up to what they are, and they're not having you control her and what she's doing. She gonna do it and she gonna make her own money. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why they was mad at Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion when and the Sexy Reds. These are women like, listen, if I'm a hoe, fine, I'm gonna be a hoe, but I'm gonna make the motherfucking money and I'm gonna be in charge of my image and you're not. They was out with their pitchforks. Out with their pitchforks. But look how many women we see who are married, who have the symbol of being a wife, performing and doing the same thing that these women who are not married do. But yeah, it's like, oh no, well, she's a wife, so it's okay. It's okay.
Great point. Welcome to the show. AR, you got something to say?
No, I'm just listening for now.
Be careful.
What?
Jay.
What?
All
I
right,
ain't
so
do nothing yet.
not yet.
I
You want to fight? You want to fight? You want to fight, AR?
No, I mean I agree with I think MJ. Well, more or less, I think a lot of these dudes they don't really have what it takes to make a partner happy. And the only women that they really go after are the ones that they can get, or the ones that find them attractive, or that want to mess with them, are the ones that aren't really in a committed type of relationship, that aren't willing to commit in a one person relationship, or a monogamous relationship. And so, to her point, I think that they want to turn a hoe into a housewife, because those are the girls that they're able to get. Like, they don't have the maturity to keep a woman that has her shit together, that wants to have her shit together. And I think that's kind of what it comes down to for a lot of these dudes, if not most of them.
That's an interesting point right there. I like that point. Anybody else got something before I go back into it?
Absolutely, he's telling the truth. If the quote unquote hoes and the quote unquote easy women and all the stuff like that, and when you break it down, they got this woman, or this woman was able to do all these things because this woman genuinely likes them, right? Or she, or they say that she has insecurity about themselves. They use that like, okay, I got my foot in. All right, I was able to get her with my charisma, my charm, all that, whatever not. But I know that she really doesn't fit the category of what I should have as a wife and a woman. So now I have to change that, because I don't want to deal with the backlash with society when she's out there literally being herself. So this is why they push to try to control women, thought process, mannerism, you name it, even down to her clothes and her wigs. They got to control everything, because you better not be out here making me look like a fool woman. But you know that she was like that from the get-go. And because you can't get women who are not like that authentically, you have to use force.
Damn.
Where have y'all been all my life? I've been screaming this offline for the last 4 years here about this manosphere, and how all it is a whole bunch
I've
of
been fighting for
dudes
my
with no
life in other
game.
places. That's where
And
I've
I
been at.
appreciate you. God bless you.
I was in
But
places where I was made to look crazy for thinking neutrally about, shit be happening to people. People just need to be better. Nope. We need to shame one party and one party only. Pick one.
Mhm.
And you just get tired of. You just get tired at some point.
I know, and that's
You
when,
just get
and that's
tired of it.
why, real men are supposed to be stepping up. So some of these men that talk about positions of leadership and everything like that, you can't be a leader without first being a protector. And if you can't protect, certain communities, not just the physical part of it, but even like the rhetoric part of it. If you hear somebody talking about women this, women that, especially the guys, if you hear guys talking about women this, women that, or whatever, if you really want to be a leader of that community, you are stepping up and talking to them right now. Like, that's not all women. Maybe it's the women that that your dick attract. That's not all women. Maybe that's the women that you've been taught to be around. You know what I mean? And everything that we go through, I don't care what it is, if we start getting into negative areas, something trauma-wise led us to get to that point. So even men that I see come on these manospheres and talk about women so bad, a lot, and I won't bring his name. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say his name because I've heard him on his podcast talk about, how he, his mama dropped him off with his grandparents. His grandparents raised him and everything like that. But I'll still see him online talking about like women, like black women, and it's like, the trauma that you experienced with your mom running the streets and dropping you off with your grandparents, and your grandparents raised you, has led to you having this view on all black women. So
It's
trauma
okay.
is
Who you talking about? I want to know. Shit.
I'm
Who you talking
talking
about?
about Angry Man.
Oh, damn.
Oh hell no! Oh hell no!
Because Angry Man, I've seen him. You know how he talk about black
You
women
gonna have
anyway.
that
But
man in his backyard going live about Sharon?
and that's why I didn't want to say his name. So I know how he is. But it's a true point. And it's not, if let's say I'm saying this from a non-bashing way, I'm not trying to bash them. Everybody's going to deal with trauma in their life. And it's how you process it is going to dictate your next moves, not only immediately, but going forward over decades and, years to come. So all this stuff starts from trauma. We go through something traumatic, whether it's how we were raised, whether it's the community we grew up in, whether it's dealing with, lack of funds as a child. And now I'll take every damn job, no matter if I'm screwing over my, my fellow community. You see this go on all the time. But that's the crux of it. That's where it all starts from. Is how we deal with trauma is what leads us down this road. And some people who've dealt with trauma, they end up, bending the ear of other men. And now all of a sudden you got men that agree with you about women ain't shit and all this stuff. And next thing you know, you got a whole bunch of dudes around you, which ain't the best place to find a woman. But that's what the manosphere is.
I want to address the ideology of men want a freak in the sheets. Yeah, I feel like after so many generations of that being said, I'm part of Gen Z. I've heard so many old, decrepit crypt keepers talk about this concept time and time again. So yes, I understand at this point after it got beat in my head so much. It feels like abuse that men want a freak in the sheets. However, to expect a hoe to just be monogamous and be a hoe for you is stupid as fuck. It is really weird. Especially if you're talking about OnlyFans models, you talk about porn stars, because they love to bring them up, right? They love to bring up these women that just be bouncing from dick to dick. How do you correlate with wanting that as a wife, though? Because that's the problem. Because there's no other reason why you focus on these horrible batch of women. From your perspective, these are horrible women, and yet you're so focused on them trying to change them to be this submissive Christian conservative. That makes no sense. It's just a
That's what,
fantasy.
yeah, Jalen. That's what I was about to say, and I'm glad you said that. It's perversion. It's perversion. It's promiscuity. It's actually a mental illness that a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed. by being so hyper and over sexualized to the point you're saying things that literally doesn't make logical sense. And once again, we're supposed to be men that supposed to be logical, right? So, like you said, we want a monogamous, conservative, kept wholesome woman to be a porn star that does the most filthy, nasty stuff. Double-mindedness at its finest. It does not make sense. It
Absolutely not.
literally,
Wait.
it
But the
literally.
whole point. Go ahead. I'm sorry, T. Sorry, True. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. That's it. That's it. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say is because the simple fact that they're double-minded is because they are hedonism or hedonists by nature. They feel that the most intrinsic value that you could ever have in life is fulfilling all pleasures, which goes to money, sex, and everything else involved, right? Pleasure is their number one goal in life, and they move everywhere. That the only reason why we have men having some act right, or they know how to, I guess, blend in with society is because of the rules and the stuff that we have in place, right? That's the only reason. If they didn't have no rules and no laws, you have heard many times, Truth and Jalen, on these panels that there was no rules and no laws or anything to follow. These men will be out here running a whole muck to the point
Yes.
where they say that they will be out here violating women off a GP because they just have the strength to do it. They will rob, steal, and kill, snatch, whatever, and wouldn't give a day about it, even though they're doing this today. But there is some form of consequence for doing things like that due to laws and rules, right? So it just really goes to the nature of a individual. If you're a hedonist and it's all about how you feel, what makes you feel good, that doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that, you're gonna, I guess, go away or frown away from doing things that would be considered devilish or satanic. You know what I'm saying? Like you, like, hey, it makes me feel good, so it's the right thing to do, right? Because I feel good doing it. And this is where we at. A lot of these guys, they're not true to themselves. Y'all move off of pleasure, and it doesn't matter who you hurt in the process. Your family, your community, your children, your quote unquote significant other. You don't care. It's about what you want and when you want it.
Okay. Many women are freaks in the sheets from the men. That doesn't make them hoes. That makes them good wives and girlfriends that will keep their men interested. If the only way to keep you interested is to do anal and all this degenerate sexual deviant shit, you got bigger problems, my guy. I don't know. You got bigger problems. If that's the only way to keep your ass interested, you're gonna have a hard life. Cause by the time you get 60, I don't know if she's gonna be able to do all them shit she was doing for you when she was young. I'm just saying, you gonna have to find something else, bro. I don't know. Sex ain't gonna get you through a relationship until death. But go off.
But
But they
they're
think it
gonna
does
all
though.
they're gonna
That's
do is they're gonna change it out for a new one. They say it all the time. They're gonna change it out. Let me go get a newer version of the product. Let me get a younger one. Let me get this one. Let me get that one. Let me get in this different shade. This color. This particular color. This flavor of ice cream. All they do is just say, "I'm gonna go out and get a new one." So no, they're never gonna be
It's
satisfied. They're not.
the reality is they're not gonna be able to get a new one because you 60 with saggy balls and you need Viagra to keep you up and you possibly broke. So I don't know how you gonna get a young woman. I'm sorry, Sharon. I don't know how you gonna get a young woman to get interested in you and you ain't got nothing to offer her but a old decrepit body. I don't know. Sorry.
And
And wasn't
this
Keith
is what I
Sweat
said.
talking about
It's
that
it's
like a
the
couple of
complete
months ago?
illusion of the whole thing. It's extreme delusion that this thing is going to be sustainable. And we're talking about 50 to 60-year-old men talking about trying to, adapt proclivities that you never even had before, but you want to do it now. Actually openly saying, I'm trying to participate in heathen behavior at 60. can't move, barely can walk, barely can take care of himself. But your whole adaptation of life as a man is, let me find a way to get in the STEM so I can acquire enough money so I can buy and participate in prostitution behavior and transaction with the women that I'm going to come online and complain about. Can somebody help me out with that?
I tell you, truth. That's the problem right there in itself. The simple fact is that these Edomites, right? They see what type of control religion garnish amongst men and women. They cannot obtain that unless they go under the disguise of being a part of the tradition of these religions. So this is why they go in there, they act like they're for the religion, and then they still, act on their heathens way. That's why they still act like heathens while they're saying that I'm a Christian or I'm this or I'm that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they only want to utilize the religion that gives them the opportunity to have more of a say-so, more of a control. They respect that, right? They respect the power, but they can't achieve the power of moving the way that they move, because that means that the other person can move that way too, right? So
Correct.
they want to confine that, and that's what religion brings. It brings that with women, it brings that with manhood, that they like that power, but that's why they want to utilize it. So they go and they extract using that power under the book, but they know they're not playing by the book. They know they're not reading that book. They know they're not really following that book, and they don't intend to either. That's why they can always, pull out these verses, and the verses is always about controlling another person but themselves.
Correct.
So somebody in the chat is saying that they didn't say anything about anal. Freaking the sheets is basically keeping it spicy. Sir, how you gonna keep it spicy if you just doing the same positions and the same shit in the bed every time you have sex? I know what keep it spicy mean. I'm not slow and stupid. It gets into degenerate shit. That's what keeping it spicy means. Outside of role playing, you're gonna get tired of her playing nurse and playing doctor and playing teacher. You're gonna get tired of that after 60 goddamn years. So guess what you're gonna get into? You're gonna get into the more degenerate shit because you have this fucking hunger for sex and
Correct.
different types of sex, and you want her to be a different morph into different women and wear wigs and shit instead of actually being like,
There
you
you
know
go.
what, this woman good enough for me. She is good enough for me. I don't need all this degenerate morphing into different personalities and
Yep.
different women just so I can keep from cheating on this bitch because I really want a blonde today, but I'm gonna tell her to put on a blonde wig so I don't cheat on this bitch. What the problem is, y'all all y'all old crypt keepers, y'all need to go to the conclave because allegedly the conclave is helping men combat they sexual hunk. This is what the conclave is telling people to go to gay men for advice on how to
I
be a
like
man.
it.
Go to the conclave. Go to
I
the
like this type
conclave,
of
all right?
Jalen. I like this type of
Go
Jalen.
to the
Jalen,
motherfucking conclave. All right?
Jalen,
I'm not
Jalen
stupid.
cursing. Y'all got Jalen cursing. I like
I
this.
know, right?
I like this a lot.
Go to the motherfucking conclave. I don't want to hear nothing about freaking the sheets and keeping it spicy. I know what that shit mean, bro. Like, stop. Stop. We know what that means. Come on. Like, you're not talking about let's do doggy style tonight. Stop it. We know what it means.
Oh my god.
Oh man, y'all crazy.
And so I just want to make sure I'm on the same page as what seems to be everybody else. Is anything but missionary considered degenerate sexual behavior?
Sexual deviancy. We know what sexual deviancy is classified as. Look it up.
I'm just asking a question, man.
I answered the question. It's sexual deviancy.
And then you told me to look at that and answer the question. It was just you answered the question by using the same word.
Uncommon, intense, persistent sexual attraction to things that aren't necessarily, usually normal. Okay, that's sexual deviancy.
But I mean,
there are men who are attracted to certain
Perversion.
situations
I wouldn't call
that
it
are not
anal, for example, not
consensual.
normal.
Perversion.
Listen. If y'all want to act crazy, y'all know what deviancy is, bro.
How am I acting
Whatever.
crazy? I'm just asking a question.
No, I'm looking at the chat. I'm reading the chat, and I shouldn't be reading the chat, but I'm reading it.
Yeah, don't read the chat.
I don't think anal is not normal, so therefore it wouldn't be
anal.
degenerate.
Okay, how is anal
Hold
not?
on, hold on.
Wait.
All right, first off, I'm so glad I'm in on this stream because this is not the way I thought it was gonna go.
Wait,
But
you mean to
continue.
tell me anal was made
listen,
for
I had
sex
no
and
idea we were gonna
procreation?
say.
Hold up,
Hold
Sharon.
on,
I'm so sorry. Sharon,
Oh, say
AR,
anal one more time
anal.
for the algorithm.
You said anal is for sex? Anal cavities were made for sex, AR. Is that what you're telling me?
I think God put the male's G spot in his ass, so
He
therefore
playing.
that
He
would
playing.
make it.
Wait. For men to be penetrated with their ass.
Hey,
That's what you're
Sharon,
saying.
I
That's
probably
normal.
had to leave.
Okay, if we saying that's normal, I'll go with that. If you want to classify that as normal,
Drop
fine.
AR. AR, you are wilding out today. Drop his ass right now. Drop him. You need a 5-minute timeout. Go on the goddamn corner,
come
AR. What
on,
the
man.
fuck are
I
you
ain't heard you.
talking about, man?
Man,
What
I'm
are
gonna
you
get some
doing,
cereal. I don't know
bro?
what y'all on, man. You just said is man. I'm going to get some cereal, man. Y'all calling me
Yes,
gay
go
and
get
shit.
some.
This weekend.
Go get some damn cereals, AR. We don't want to hear about your G spot and all.
I didn't
Listen,
say. I didn't say.
do whatever you need to do, bro.
This is the booty warrior. I demand that one of y'all drop money to drop him from the panel.
What
This
did
is a booty
Come
warrior.
on, man.
Matter of fact, he should be given a free ticket to the conclave
I'm
because
about to
he's
say
the
you was
type
just talking. You
that
were just talking about
he
the
needs to
conclave.
go to the conclave. They
Why
looking
y'all
for
so
him to
comfortable
fashion up
saying
people.
stuff like that?
You need to learn the fashions of other men. Matter of fact, AR, have you ever been like a fashion consultant?
No, I ain't never been no
You
fashion
know what? You
consultant,
probably
man.
be the perfect one to
All
be a
right,
fashion
all right,
consultant,
all right,
AR.
all right. We're gonna get back to the. We're gonna skip past that brief moment. AR's in the corner. He's in a timeout.
Yes, he's in the corner. I'm so disturbed, AR. No, you need to go in the corner, bro. I don't know where were you going with that, bro? Like, listen, we don't need to know what you want to do in the cheese, bro. That is your business. We just saying.
It's not me. What are you talking about? It ain't me. I'm just saying that you
We're
can't
gonna move
say
forward. Okay,
that.
listen, we're not gonna go. We're gonna move forward. We ain't going in the back.
Yes, please, sir.
We can throw it back.
What? Yeah.
No,
okay.
don't
Who
throw
can
it back,
throw it
bro.
back,
The
sir?
minimum
Who can throw it
of
back?
women that are undesirable within our community, and
Give
you
him
make
10
them the
minutes now.
maximum. And you maximize that as if all black women are this or that, when it might be a small fraction of black women that fit that category that you don't want. So you can self-improve as a black man without it being at the detriment of putting down black women, particularly the black women that you don't want. Now, I've said this 1,000 times on these YouTube streets. This is internet shit. Most black men out there in the real community are not crying and whining on social media about.
Now that part, I think that part, I disagree.
Yeah,
I think we don't have enough men that is given the proper opposition so men can have the proper understanding that you got to get past your trauma bonding with your humans, your people, right? It's one thing that you had something happen to you, but it's another thing when you live in that pain. So he is wrong that a lot of men that is living in the outside world, they can't have the conversation in the outside world because usually the men that are successful at their relationship is also out there, and you start having a conversation talking nonsense like what these men they get checked, and so they find the little the corners where they can talk that talk. So it is real men that's walking around the street. It's just that they cannot express it without getting pushed back in the street. But online, it's not enough of men that is privy to all of this situation to give it the proper pushback that it needs.
Absolutely.
So that's why I think Information Man was wrong at. And I agree. Social media is not therapy, but it's therapeutic. And I think that's something that people just need to understand. It's therapeutics to sometimes get out of full thought, because there's clearly a lot of people don't get a chance to get out their full thoughts or get their vulnerable thoughts out there. And so it is important that they have some kind of therapeutic situations, and then hopefully they can find a place to go to therapy to actually solve their problem. Because the gym is also something that's therapeutic, but it's not therapy. going to the boxing gym, you know, whooping on a goddamn bag, or even sparring with somebody. That's therapeutic, but it's not therapy. So I think that's the real confusion about social media and having these platforms. They don't understand the difference between the therapeutic part of having communication with our people versus they also need to go get some professional help too. Some people need professional help. You need past therapeutic. So I think that's the issue.
I think
Are
that's
you
a
guys
huge problem on here. That the majority of people that actually need professional help, they're coming on here and bleeding all over each other, trauma bonded, and then you got this daggone clusterfuck of just a whole bunch of people with all this animosity and hate and projection. And then you're seeing all these things group after group after group. And it's happening. Even when you'll even have a conversation with somebody, you be like, okay, so you met you actually dealt with a bad woman before? And they'll say yes. And then you be like, okay, well, what happened? And then they will share something with you that is a normal occurrence. That's not a bad person. So it'd be crazy, man. It'd be crazy.
Go ahead, Detroit. I know you had something to say as well.
I was just gonna ask, are you guys familiar with the victim to perpetrator continuum? You ever heard of that? So it's basically like somebody goes through some kind of trauma and they justify how they were mistreated. Basically they pass that same kind of perpetration on to somebody else. So whatever's been perpetrated to them, they rationalize that they are justified in doing that to somebody else. And it doesn't have to be something that was done to you directly. So we were talking about if you grew up in a house that was dysfunctional or whatever, where the victim to perpetrator continuum goes is that because you grew up this way, that you feel like it's okay, or if anything, it's almost your right to commit that on somebody else. I see that, just like you guys were talking about trauma bonding, all that stuff kind of works together. It all starts from something traumatic that somebody never figured out how to deal with or never understood why it happened to them. So if it was, like that abusive household, they don't understand maybe the trauma that their parents went through that led to them ending up in an abusive household. They just understand to make sure that they're in control of their abusive household, if that makes sense. There's so many people out here that and that's what prevails the manosphere, is that thought where these, guys, whatever they've gone through in life, they've ended up in this position right now, but they don't understand that. And you go online and it allows you to not understand it further. It gives you an area of space where you don't have to figure it out. Just come here and be ignorant. And then you have a whole bunch of ignorant people actually trying to be leaders to other ignorant folks that need some leadership and stuff like that. And then you end up with a conclave. And what that's going to end up being is just a whole bunch of people giving money to a group or whatever that's playing off of your trauma. You leave there with your trauma intact. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say that.
You know what I'm saying? You leave it not if more so more emboldened. Your trauma is stretched here, and you think that you gained some kind of strength, and you actually have become weaker, and that's what that manosphere is.
Pay $1,000 to go hang out with some old niggas.
No, I think the cheapest ticket you could go to actually physically be there was $800 or something like that. I think the cheapest. Yeah, and if you wanted to do it virtually, the virtual ticket I believe was $600.
Sherrod, I am not paying $800 when I can go to Future Care. I can go to Men on the Move to help out the elderly, as I already do.
Bar.
Women, because the men that I've been around and my organization, our sitting in talks about the conclave. and working with black men. I've been working with black men since I was 18 years old.
No
I've been putting young black
captivity.
men through trade school and college and mentorship for years. I'm 56 years old. We've been doing the work that he's talking about, and we do it without doing what? Putting down black women. Matter of fact, a lot of the brothers that I deal with are men and have gone for the women that they choose. So I don't put any black man down that wants to self-improve. Yes, there are things that some black men have gone through that's unfortunate, whether it be around the issues of child support and what have you, and it's good for brothers to give a recommendation on how to deal with certain stuff. But I just don't see where the constant beating down on women because it looks feminine for you as a man or any man to spend all your time browbeating and talking down about women that 9 out of 10 times you don't even want. And then we find.
I think that's another very interesting point as well. That is a very good point. Majority of these men don't realize that they are talking about themselves in a very feminine way. They are telling on themselves. Because the fact that they are competing with a woman on why she getting drinks at the bar. I want free drinks. Why she get flowers? I want flowers. Why on Mother's Day they get all the good gifts and on Father's Day I just get a pair of socks. Like, you don't realize how
weak. How weak that is.
Yeah. He said it in a nutshell, man. Like all day long saying the same thing. And not just days. We're talking about this been going on years. So, and you don't find nothing wrong with that? Like that you haven't adopted any change, anything different? It's the same conversations, the same dialect, the same conclusion that you surmise after you give your statement or have the conversation. There's no change. And like you said, the building up of men, you're saying the only way that can happen is the tearing down of women? And you don't see something wrong with that? And he even brought up this because I asked somebody, who do he sound like? When he said, I'm for the building up of men, for men getting everything that they want, everything that they need for life being, for all about men. I said, bro, you sound like the so-called women you hate. Just on the inverse, you have a problem with them saying that. You sound just like what they're saying. You're promoting what women are saying. They're saying they want to promote themselves. They're all about black women and black women getting these things. But you have a problem with them saying that. But then you have adopted their language in competition of them. I just don't. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's that victim to perpetrator. That's exactly it right there.
Makes sense.
Find out over the years that you got a lot of these ninjas on here who be talking all this stuff, and behind the scenes they with baby mamas and every damn thing else that they telling you that you shouldn't be with. I think the conversation is outdated, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Tell me why.
For it's you owe, as Jason Black always say, or Julian Lewis Smith, his real name. Okay, I know some shit around here. He said it be these old niggas that keep up this bullshit. Because the Z generation, they don't give a damn about none of this stuff. The young men, we keep telling up here talking about, well, what are we gonna do to help the young men? Most of these young generation, not baby boomers, not Gen Xers, but the younger generation, they not even on this shit. Most.
I think he's misinformed about that as well.
Yeah, I think him for saying that.
I think he's correct.
What?
I am a part of Gen Z. I'm gonna be honest.
You're a little old, Sharon.
We
so
don't
you
give
understand.
a fuck.
Respectfully.
We don't give a fuck. We still trying to figure out how we gonna afford to get a fucking apartment.
So the reason why I think
about this shit.
No, I think y'all wrong. The reason why I think y'all wrong because if that was correct, Andrew Tate wouldn't be as big as he is. Nick Fuentes wouldn't be as big as he is.
If
It's
what
a
was
lot
correct.
of these that Sneeko, Fresh and Fit. Those are mostly young men in this Gen Z conversation. Is the ones that is fueling a lot of those podcasts. So no, they do care about it. They saying they're the ones that's trying to actually carry that torch for real and move that torch forward to how these red pill people are saying they're going to find out with a rude awakening that they are following the wrong men.
So Bracy, this probably be the only time today. Oh, go ahead, hit your cash thing first.
All right, let me hold first.
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
Fighter Complex 7, $4.99, aka Cueva Doches. Sharon, the boxing gym is therapy for me also because coaches many times are also mentors, positive role models. Okay, I like that correlation actually. That is I like that correlation. That's close to therapy. I get that. I still believe it's more therapeutic, but I could absolutely concede to this as well as it could be some kind of form of therapy.
Yeah.
At the same time.
So the only time we would probably disagree is probably on this one today.
All right.
And I'm pretty sure you have children around in this age range too, 18 to 25.
Mhm.
So from with my children and understanding their friends and listen to the conversations and having conversations with them, they from what I just say from my anecdote, they are not geared on the relationship aspect of in the problems that they're having coming together. They're like, it's whatever. If I have it, it's cool, but I'm not even looking for it. Most of them are into building their structure, their business, getting money, going to school, enjoying life, traveling. They're really not into this thing. This is more of an old people problem, up in ages, because we're trying to get we want relationships. We want to be married. We're trying to a lot of people don't want to be alone and stuff like that. So this is more of an older problem than I would say from in that age range from 18 to 25. They're getting money, they're doing things, they're living, they're traveling, they enjoying life. They're not all rooted up, angry, and it's
All right,
crazy.
so this is why. All right, so I have a young man hit me up and say, "Hey, can we please meet up somewhere so we can have a discussion about these things?" He's only 22 years old. That's number
Mhm.
one. Just recently, the other day. Next thing, Sway. Young people care about these combos. They just not on panels and in the chat. We have the conversations. So I think people are missing out a very important thing that these conversations are affecting the young people. The young people just don't feel confident enough to hit the panel because they always going to get, well, you too young, you don't know this, wait until you get older type of situation, right? Even if they have proper pushback for the manosphere, they would still tell those young, all right, wait until you have 2 kids and your woman want to leave you, she take everything, right? They always try to young boy them or little man them. And that's why we don't see them on the panels or having the conversation out loud, because they don't have the confidence to voice their opinion. However, if we get more men to give the proper pushback, the young men will have the time to express their thoughts, and this way we could go back and forth with them and possibly get some correction, or at least get their main thought out, and they could be able to figure out what works for them and what doesn't work for them. So no, young people absolutely want to talk about relationships and how to get them. Also, even in an adult experience, the children, the young kids, they will call you up like, "Hey, but how do you get past this and the pressure of this?" So they want to have these answers from men that they see, or women as well, that is navigating through these things. My daughter, just another anecdote. My daughter was talking to my wife yesterday, and she said, sometimes people just don't understand. I need a break from my children. And my wife was like, she's about to go in, but she realized, like, she's going through it, right? Even though my wife is raising 2 young kids at the moment and raised her as well. And then she had the nerve to say, you don't understand that I need a break too. So young people are going through this as well.
I don't think that, or at least I wasn't. I feel like Jay or MJ, whoever it was, that also said it. Saying that young people don't want to have, conversations about relationships. I think it was, for me, it was more about the.
No, but that's what they said.
I took what he was saying, and I guess maybe I
took it
misheard,
wrong.
but I thought it was. Oh
No,
yeah, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want you to get it right, sir. Thank you.
I took it as him saying the talk about like, it needs to be a traditional relationship or whatever, rather than not having relationship talks at all. I feel like that's what he was saying, or that's what I heard when he was talking about it. So not so much the relationship conversations, but women need to sit at home and do the dishes, and men should be out there working all the time or whatever. I think that things have changed because of the economics of it. That's how I took it.
No, that's not.
Okay.
That's
Well, obviously I wasn't paying attention. I was busy eating Fruity Loops.
It's okay. It's only exit only. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yo, tripping.
Just fucking with my brother. Just fucking with him. Welcome to the show, Chicago Rilla. Good day, sir. How you doing today?
Peace, family. What's the word, y'all?
We doing
I saw
well.
Pimp J up here. I said, let me pull up real quick.
Yeah, you missed a good one earlier, Chicago. Ooh, it was good.
I was listening while I was getting ready for work, man. I was listening. Well, wait a minute. Which part? The one where y'all jumped Afro Nerd with the 3 R's? Which part? Which part did I miss?
Maybe like 40 minutes before that.
Y'all gave that man $1.50, Sharon. I mean, Sharon, my bad, Sharon. But you know what? Look, I was thinking while y'all was talking, just to pivot real quick and I'll go on mute. H-Rap Brown passed yesterday. And on these stages, we have all these conversations about talking. And then when you ask people to show their work and they show you their work, it's like, that's cool, but that's not good enough. And so again, I'm one that always says, I'm focused on Roseland. I'm focused on the community that, I'm invested in. And so when I think about Jamil Al-Amin, I lived in West End when they arrested him, when they allegedly had that shootout. And I used to hoop at West End Park. And what's crazy is that Muslim community, it was a small community. It may have been like 3, maybe 4 blocks, but they owned Soul Veg. They had a grocery store, and those kids were homeschooled. But also, guess what? Them dope boys, they knew to toe the line. The thugs and the gangsters, it wasn't too much of that activity because a lot of cats would come up missing. And so what's the point? What am I saying? Build where you at. It's too many cats. Like when Truth was asking like the 3 R's, what would make it right? Yeah, build community where you at. Them cats they was only concerned about them 3 or 4 blocks in West End. They wasn't concerned about Bankhead. They wasn't out in Decatur. They wasn't over in East Point. Now we could have conversations and build, with other mosques or imams or so on and so forth, right? But my main concern is these 3 to 4 blocks that I got control over in West End. Yeah. And I'm telling you, the women and children were protected. The elders were safe. And this was like early 2000s. I was really thinking about the example that he set, why they were so quick to come and snatch him up. I'm on mute.
Awesome. That was great.
My bad. One of my guys was calling me, man. I'm on mute, but I'll land it here, Sharon. We do an immense amount of talking, right? And no disrespect to any conclave, any meet up and greet up and all that other stuff. It's nothing more than a conference, or a Million Man March if you want, because I know people hold that to a standard and a level of accountability. I'm with all that, right? Because at the end of the day, what are your results afterwards?
Right.
How are you showing improvement and affecting right where you are afterwards? You coming online trying to check women, complain about women, and hold these simps and betas accountable. You ain't even got that pull in your own block, let alone your city. Get it out. I'm going on mute, man.
That's a great point. They can't even talk in their own community. Got some
Bro, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Like Sharon, they be scared to talk to the quote unquote YNs. You know, I don't like using that term. They be scared of them.
Hell yeah.
They see that Nike Tech fleece. Is that what they wear? Nike Tech. And they see that junk coming. They crossing the street with the ladies. The ladies crossing the street, clutching their purse. They clutching their purse too.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that when you say that, right? when we talk to them and we really listen to them and we respond properly what they are trying to communicate to you, you can see their whole face change. You see their whole body structure change. They will go from defensive and aggressive posture to when you start communicating back and forth and giving them a reason that they can understand, their whole demeanor change. And they go from an aggressive, like you don't know what you're talking about conversation to you, to like, oh, that makes sense kind of posture. And I think if more productive men was to communicate with these so-called YNs, they will understand that they are just young men waiting to get proper guidance. And then if you could give them something that they can actively use, they might not even use it in the first year, but eventually they'll revert back to that information and then they will remember. I had one young man call me back. Well, not call me back, but I probably seen him. We had a sit down maybe 4 years ago. And he recently called me. He's like, "Oh shit, you still got the same number. I'm surprised you answer." I was like, "Why would I answer?" Anyway, he called. He said, "Yo, I didn't really understand what you was trying to communicate to me when we had that first sit down. But now that I attempted to do the things, I fully understand what you were saying, and I appreciate you for giving me that insight. Because now I'm married, my kids is doing well, and I also got my wife out of the workforce."
Yo,
But
them be the best conversations.
It took them 4 years to really.
Yeah. Yeah. Them be the best conversations though, because it lets you know that the work is not in vain, right? That you didn't cast your pearls amongst swine. I got young bloods that I hired years ago that still, I was about to say my god doggone go. I hired years ago and they'll hit me like, "Yo, you know, I didn't catch it then, or I didn't understand it then, or I tried what you said and it worked." You know, and shoot, sometimes they say, "Hey, that didn't work for me," and that's okay too. The point is, I always try and position myself. I'm gonna try and position myself as the old head that know it all. I try and do what I felt the OGs in my hood did for me, and then I try and add my own spin on it. Which, at the very least, I should be a listening ear and willing to hear these young bloods out more than I'm trying to, you know, tear them down and castrate them. And you know, man, in my day, you know, y'all ain't tough. You know, you think you tough. You ain't tough. You know.
And also, Chicago, I also want to say this as well. Speaking of that, the way how you communicate, right? One time, it was a mother talking to her son very aggressively. She actually boom bapped him with a quick ass suitcase. I was like, damn, she must go to the same gym as Spider Complex, because I thought he was going to be missing a tooth the way how she boom bapped him.
Boom bapped him.
Yeah, I heard you tell this one before.
And so, you know, I waited till it calmed down a little because the woman, she recognized me, right? So it's not like I was just being nosy. And so she didn't just jump out the window and say, "Mind your fucking business," right? And I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I talk to the young man so you could calm down just a little bit?" She looked at me aggressively. She was ready to go there with me as well. And she her nose flared up. She said, "Yes." She gave me the opportunity. And then I was speaking to the young man, and he started to respond in a way where she seen it was fit for her son. And she was like surprised that he was being receptive to what I was saying. And then he said he's going to do X, Y, and Z. And so from that moment on, she was so up. She went from upset to like, all right, then we're going to listen to Sharon. And we're going to give you that month time. That if you don't change, you're going to get boom bapped again. I was like,
shout out to the boom bap. Yeah. She hit him with the woo out the bell.
A straight up quick ass 2-piece too. I was like, ooh, I was like, damn, you heard it too. Pat, pat. It sounded like the George Foreman and Michael Moore. He just didn't drop. And she had hit me up later on, like 2-3 months later, and said, hey, he's made some progress. He's not where he needs to be yet, but he made some strong progress and he is attempting to hold himself accountable. And so sometimes if we could just have the proper words and guidance towards our young men, the women will also take heed to it if it sounds correct, because we cannot act as if a woman cannot hear correct information all of a sudden. Like they're not grown ass human beings.
But first, we got to get these jokers, keep it a bean, fam. Like I heard when y'all was over there on Freezy, I heard the word community getting thrown around quite a bit. And I hate that, right? Because you act like you're not part of a community. Like your community is better than the community that we advocate for, right? Like you have a community full of men, right? That really cannot show and prove the work in the community that they have built. They don't show happy marriages. They don't show their wives. They don't show their work. They'll tell us what they made. Everybody's, it's interesting that everybody on the internet makes 6 figures, multi-millionaire, got every answer on the test correct. Yep. I have never met so many successful people in my entire life. I'm blue collar middle class, fam. That's just what it is for me and mine, right?
Facts. Average at best. That's
but most of us are, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't take that as I'm not saying you, Truth. I'm just saying most of us are. My grandparents, my mom, we were middle class. We always been middle class. The gig is to position the next generation to build on top of what the foundation. But if you're not leaving foundation, so this is what I say about these cats, Sharon. They want to have their TED Talks, man. They don't really, put boots on the ground and get out here. Like I ain't heard nothing about how these brothers get out here and mentor with the young bloods when they doing these conferences and stuff like that. And again, if that's not your bag, that's not your bag. But even for the example that was made of menswear, black menswear, something like that, hey, them jokers bring the young bloods in and suit them and boot them, and do they flash mob and whatever. There's a bunch of activities that they have for that weekend. It's not just them showing up and doing Instagram videos. There's a bunch of activities that they have for that entire weekend when they show up to a city. But nonetheless, I think the women will take note, but we keep trying to have conversations with the brothers, and the brothers keep saying, well, why y'all trying to holler at us? You ain't checking the women. Because when I'm outside, I see more women volunteering. I see more women donating. I see more women frontline than I see brothers. That's a problem for me.
Absolutely.
That's a fact, Rilla.
MJ was up here. She confirmed it too with herself. She volunteered at a school and also put her son in school.
That was right. That right there, that was so on time. It was crazy. But really, that's the thing is we're complaining just something simple. We're talking about black women are fat. But then I'm saying black women are fat while I'm fat. Like the insanity of that thing is what it's like, bro, are you not listening? Like, or you just don't give a damn that you sound stupid? Like, if your life, it's one thing to say, okay, I'm promoting this thing because I have conquered it. I'm talking about somebody shouldn't be fat because I'm not fat. I'm talking about somebody supposed to have money because I have money. I'm talking about marriage because my marriage is successful. They literally, and really, you know this was the main problem that I had when I first came on here. You know this. It's about to be 6 years ago, 6 years now. I said these guys are coming on here telling everybody to do these things, and not near one of them have it. Not none of them. And I was kept trying to tell guys, I was like, bro, they don't want you to be successful or have a relationship. They don't want you to have no love with no woman and have a good family. Or anything. That's not what they're promoting. They are talking about fucking on women. They're not talking about marriage.
Bingo.
Fucking on women. That's the only thing they're talking about because that's the problem that they're having. The women that they want and complain about, the women that they want, they can't get them and they can't fuck on them. So now the only thing left to do is talk about them. Let me talk about her since she won't let me fuck on her. Not that I want to marry her. Not that I want to take care of her. Not that I want to build anything. Not that I want to have family and build legacy with her. Not that I actually want to be responsible for somebody. I want to fuck on her. And if she doesn't let me fuck on her, she's a hoe because she let somebody else fuck on her. Do you see how that works? She's a hoe. If I fuck on her, she's not a hoe. But if somebody else or a whole bunch of other guys fuck on her, then she's a hoe now.
Hey, true. Not to mention that now I ran her down and discarded her, right? So I have no use for her because I done already been up through that, right?
Yeah.
Now I leave her for the next man for him to deal with.
Yep.
I'm literally contributing to the problem that I'm complaining about.
Correct. I'm creating it literally in real time as we speak, as we talk. The thing that I'm complaining about, I'm actually doing it. I'm fucking on women, complaining that they're 304s, creating 304 behavior because I don't want to be with her.
Right.
See, it doesn't make sense. It's like, it's the most, bro, this is such a case study of mental illness. It's not even funny.
Hey, true. But wait. Hey, lady, you need to choose better.
Yeah, you need to choose. Oh, yeah. Don't let's not get started on that.
You picked them. You picked them.
Right. So it's the women are bad. Hey, bro, did you see the red flags? Oh, yeah, but I just didn't think that was such a bad thing. I kept going, whatever. Okay. So is you choosing off? No, she just should have been a better person. She should be more logical, more accountable. We're no different. Oh, so you're no different. Okay, so then y'all on an even level. No, I'm the leader. I'm above her. Okay, hold on. So, okay, so which one is it? Right. No, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm the man and everything, gender. I don't believe in gender equality. Oh, but you just said both of y'all are accountable and responsible to the same situation. Y'all supposed to think alike. She's supposed to be more just as logical as you are, right? No, because all men are more logical. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. What?
It's wild for sure. What? It is wild. Shout out to Elite Bell Zoe 1 with the $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate all that.
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
Shout out to Miss J, Borica, Pariciosa, PR. Gifted 5 Wildest Wake Up Show memberships. Thank you so much. And everybody that got that, please, can you maintain it from moving on forward? Thank you so much. I really appreciate all that y'all do.
About to be a situation. Hey, hey, hey.
I really appreciate it.
And the last
one, what was that name again?
Yo, crazy. Yo, crazy. The last one, Bracy. You complain about women using men for money, right? Taking their money, using them, and discarding them, right? Wasn't this whole stick just a couple days ago about getting enough money to, be heathenistic and perform in heathenistic behavior? And then you found out that this person was supposed to be one of the greatest bachelors on here. And then you found out he was in a 16-year relationship this whole time. Can somebody help me out? Because maybe it's me. Maybe it's me.
Oh, I don't know who's in the man. Put it in the back chat. I don't know who was in a 16-year relationship.
That's
I
what he
know the
said. That's
I know
what
the
he
one
said.
about the one that
He
preached
literally
against
said
single
that.
mothers and ended up with a single mother.
He literally said that on Freezy show. I've been with, in a 16-year relationship.
Yeah, that's just disappointing. Yeah,
But I thought you was a bachelor. Bro, shit crazy.
To them don't even want to either get married. They on some other shit. So a lot
They
of this
dance.
stuff rings
They dance.
very hollow with them, but rings very loud with Negroes who got problems that they're trying to overcome, or they need. What happens is you talk to an audience of Black men that are in pain, and you're able to feed into their pain by feeding it with the very negative things that maybe they've been traumatized by, whether it be bad relationships, a woman taking all their money, whatever it may be doing. And what's happening is, in my organization, we ain't charging Black men no money to help them. We're not charging Black youngsters to get them where they need to be. Mentorship from the time they're in elementary school through junior high school on up, and then getting them with brothers that are professionals. We're not charging them. We're not grifting them. We're not saying hit the Cash App, hit my PayPal. What you do is you take the pain of Black men, and it's our own people who grift off of our pain, whatever pain you have, to make money off of it and monetize it and what have you, and say in the name of it is, this is about the manosphere. And y'all know the white manosphere, they ran y'all asses out. That's why y'all had to go form your own manosphere, because they didn't want you. And there's another thing I need to ask Obsidian or anybody on the panel. Why is it that we keep getting in Freezy, you know where I'm going here. We keep talking about all Black men were kicked out of the household by Black women during the welfare years. Negro, if you a strong man, ain't nobody knocking you out the damn house. Now, we forget that originally Black women or Black families were not allowed to have welfare programs. Welfare programs were created for white people first. Black people didn't even apply for them. Now, we know that white people are on SNAP benefits at 35%, Black people at 26%. Hispanics are somewhere between 14%, Native Americans 1%, and then overall welfare programs like SNAP, welfare programs, various social programs that the government has been giving out money. White people are at about 43%. They lead in all welfare benefits, and they've been getting welfare since the very beginning when it was created, coming out of the Great Depression. So why is it that the white man wasn't pushed out of his household when more white women and white people in general are on welfare programs? They didn't get pushed out because we forget that there's an economic difference. White people have generational wealth. They were able to get a leg up. They were able to benefit from their welfare programs and still strive. Black people don't have or were not allowed to generate at that time generational wealth. But then we sit up here and we say Black men were pushed out of the house. Can anybody tell me why the white man didn't get pushed out of his house when white people are on welfare more than anybody at the end of the day? Go ahead.
Before you go,
come on, no.
I think it's funny how the dude in blue, the one that don't have the answer, he wanted to be the first one to try to answer. Shut your ass up. The question, that's why I don't know why information try to point it towards everybody. Like that was for Obsidian to answer. God damn it, because he the main one that be having these manosphere talker points. And it's an interesting point when you really think about it. Because welfare, not welfare, I don't, it's like Sharon, welfare. I don't know. It's two different type of programs. But why did it push us out, but it didn't push them out? That is a great question. What's your thoughts on that, Rilla? Why it didn't push the white man out his household? I don't know. Maybe Chicago Real don't know he on mute, or maybe he's in the meeting. You know he always in his meeting. He probably took a nap. You know, getting older. I don't got the answer to that. I don't got the answer to it. Truth. Do you
I
got the
don't
answer
know
to
why
that?
they put. Hey, listen. Well, I will say is this. I can say this though. When we go by percentile versus totality, those are two different things. So, of course, percentage-wise, because they have a larger populace of people, is naturally going to be larger because they have more total people. So their percentage of them being on welfare is going to be a lot more. But as far as the concept of why white men weren't kicked out as large, once again, it's another indictment against us.
Damn,
bro. At the end of the day, a hard fact I had to learn, early that it helped me out years ago was if most of the time you're going to be the common denominator in everything that you deal with in life. If majority of the time is pointing at you, then more than likely you're probably the problem. You got to address that first. We talk about accountability on here all the time, but we never address it as self accountability. That's where it actually starts off at. Term is self accountability. So we supposed to address, the problems and the deficits in ourselves. So then clearly we can then say, hey, these deficits I have inside of me, I've dealt with them or I'm working on them and I'm progressing. And then I see those things as well that you're having problems in it. Let's address them. I have, some ways to help you address them. But you can't say that if you're not even addressing them yourself.
I like it. Detroit Coalition, do you have an answer for why the white man wasn't pushed out, but us as a whole, majority of black men got pushed out?
Well, as far as we're talking about welfare and like
the Wayfair.
Yeah. Well, I know that in black communities, let's say it's in certain states where you have predominant black folks, if I don't know if anybody, maybe I'm wrong in this, somebody will correct me here, but wasn't there a thing where like you couldn't live in the same house and get welfare? Like if the mother was getting welfare, like she couldn't even get assistance if there was a gentleman in the house. Wasn't that a thing?
That's a statement that a lot of the talking points saw, but what Information Man was saying is that why, and that is the case, why the white man wasn't pushed out the house and only the black man was pushed out the house, if that was the case.
Okay, yeah. And I would say, like with most things, the burden of proof and the punishments behind it always have been greater in the black community than the white community. So it could be where like, white men were kicked out of the house because the wife was receiving welfare too. But if we're talking about who actually they're going to make sure that we're going to make sure we check the Negro houses first, if that makes sense. So some of that I would think is attached to it. Yes, there is accountability and responsibility that has to be attached to all of this. There's no ducking that, and anything I'm saying isn't opposed to that. But there's also other causalities, and that's where yes, we can point our fingers at the problems in our own community, but if we aren't pointing out the pressures that our community are getting, that maybe other communities aren't, then it's not fair kind of compare ourselves to a white community.
Yeah. I mean, Detroit, you can look at it like this, bro. Let me see where I post this at. Damn. Because I wanted to touch on something. What was your share that last point? Because I want to make sure I said the right way.
That we do need to make sure that we are making sure we are accountable to our own community, but we can't ignore the pressures that have been coming from outside of our community against our community, that can affect things too.
Right. So would you agree that if addressing, okay, so I think we have a problem with that in general because we do it with inside of our community. Like for us as men, we look for the excuses to compensate for our failures, for, you know, instead of addressing them at you know, at hand and directly. Do you see do you notice that? Like even with our, like if it ain't with white man, then we'll do it with our women.
Yeah, I think that that's inherent with I think any human can get caught up in that. We got brains that'll allow us to imagine that, man, if this had just went this way, I'd have the man, if I, you know, if you know, if I was just a little bit taller, I'd be in the NBA or whatever. You know, we have a way of, as humans, doing that. I can't say that it's something that's inherent to the Black community. It's something that we notice because we're in the Black community.
No,
So I
I'm
can't say
talking about us as men.
Oh, as
My
men,
fault
the
if I
same
didn't
thing.
make that.
I
If
think
I
that's
ain't make
I don't think it's something that's inherent to Black men. I think that's inherent. And I don't even think that's something that's just inherent. No, let me. I think women do a better job of being honest and forthright about certain things and maybe getting to some clarity about stuff. And I think in male society, sometimes that weakness that we think is shown when we admit a fault or a wrong or something like that is detrimental.
Yeah. So the dishonesty of it all, correct? Because that's basically what it is.
You got to lie to yourself, right?
Yeah. If you're not willing to confront yourself, or what I call mirroring up, you know, if you're not willing to address who you are, you're being fundamentally dishonest. And if you're fundamentally dishonest, that being like, how are you going to be a leader at anything? Why would somebody entrust you if you're fundamentally dishonest with yourself? Do you follow me?
No, that's very true. And I think that's when we start pinpointing the you know, the ones who aren't getting out of society what they think that they should, is that, you know, they'll point at society and say, well, if this was my way, if this was this way, I'd have this, and this was this way, I have that, and not looking at themselves internally. Once again, I will say, I believe that is a white European way of looking at stuff. And we kind of, as Americans, kind of get caught up in, you know, things that really aren't the nature of Black folks. There was a I used to go to
whoa, hold up. So
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to
this,
pivot or anything like that. I just
so
want
you
to
saying dishonesty is a white thing?
No, I'm saying anybody, just like I said, how I think it's a human thing, how you could lie to yourself about I think it being accepted. Yeah, I think it's more accepted in certain cultures that, you know, this lie got you to the top. Black communities, you know, lies don't usually bring you to the top of the cream of the crop, you know, traditionally. Because usually we could see through some BS or whatever, and just like, yeah, that dude talking whatever. Even if he, like Kanye, even if he's representing, say he representing us, we can see through this BS or whatever. I guess what I'm saying is there is a certain acceptance in certain communities, you know what I mean? And man, I don't want to get off track here because I want to go with you.
All right, let's jump back into the video to see where he's gonna go.
Yeah,
I want to also get into Q Butter was he was talking to Obsidian as well.
Yeah,
I want to try to get to the closer to the end of it. And also, Just Jay, she was cooking up as well. Her part is awesome.
Hold on. Before you go,
I just want to hear one person at a time. God damn.
I'm saying I'm gonna. I got you, Reese. I got you. I'm going down the line. Trust me, bro.
But the questions I put on the table, though, Freezy, need to be answered. Why do we continue to keep whining about women that we don't want? Why is it that we whine and say the black man was pushed out of the household as if black women are the face of bag lady and welfare queens when the true welfare queen is white women and white society?
Right. So I'm going to let Obsidian have priority.
And-
if he wants to pass it, he can.
And how many of you on the panel, should I ask, and this is no shade, because I keep hearing
God
this
damn it,
thing
let the people
about
answer.
either George Macomb who
That
won the
boy's
work
a lot.
more than any other.
Yeah, information man. It's been a long time. How you been, brother?
I've
No
been all right, man.
captivity.
God damn, that brother could talk. Shit. Ask a question, then he went up for another, he put up for another 2 minutes.
I should have been taking notes because you said a whole lot. I'm not
Yeah, I
sure
said a
exactly
whole lot.
what to respond to in there. So,
Well, no, I just wanted to look. Don't get me wrong, Obsidian. I think that whatever you got going down with the conclave and what you're doing with black men, I salute that. If that's because you have said, to your credit, that the work starts offline. So I salute that. I got no shade on you on that.
okay.
I just didn't like the way you set up there and let Purdy think you had Pearly things on your channel and everybody was running interference for her. I didn't like that.
So we're gonna go. So we're gonna leave
no, I'm
back
just letting
about
you know,
years.
just wanted up that. That's all.
Right.
That's the
We're
only
gonna
thing.
leave
I only
back
gripe
about
I
3
had
years.
with you.
Right.
No, I'm just saying that's the only thing that I was a little disappointed in about that situation.
All
I'm
right,
just being
brother.
honest with you.
Goddamn.
I know. I mean, this is how we do it, black folks. You remember what happened in 1975? I was still feeling some kind of way about what you did in 1975.
Because you know why? Because this is the thing, Obsidian. We all on these streets, we always talking about
This ain't
black
for
women
real.
need to be held accountable, right?
No, truth. This
Well,
ain't for real.
sometimes
I don't say
black
that. I
men
don't say that.
need to hold other black men.
This ain't for real. He asked the man a question and then he strained the man away from the goddamn question. After he said he really wants the brothers on the damn panel to answer it.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one that's seen that. Because I be trying to tell people, like, bro, are you asking a question or you giving a statement? Which one?
Yo, that's wild. That is wild. Let's see if he allow Obsidia to answer the damn question.
Accountable. Come on. How can we say hold black
I don't
women
talk about.
accountable?
I don't talk about
and we don't
that.
hold each other accountable.
I don't talk about holding black women accountable.
I do.
I don't talk about that at all.
I do.
Okay, brother.
I just want to talk about them.
Go ahead. I mean, no. Obsidian, do your thing, man. I'm not hating on you.
So I wanted to make
There's a lady on the panel, Miss Muse.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Thank
you.
I don't know. I think Obsidian was kind of. He was just kind of lost a little bit with. But if anybody else wants to respond to what.
Damn. And look, shout out to Obsidian. He took the back door. He's like, hey, fuck it. You gonna let me wiggle out the goddamn question? I'm gonna wiggle out the question. After you demanded for people to answer the damn question. I can't believe.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And then he tried to pump fake it like we got a woman on the panel. Boy, y'all sit your silly ass down. Shout out to Obsidian for being able to wiggle out of questions. He is a great deflector. Oh my god.
Yes. Mastered redirection, mastered deflection.
Damn. And he allowed it. He said, hey, you want to keep talking over me? Then I'm gonna just all right, I won't answer it. Shit.
To what information, man? Go ahead, brutal reviews, and yeah, go ahead.
All right. I want to address who that?
No, I'm gonna give you the floor, the main floor, in 1 second. Reese, I got you.
I don't think I want to get
go ahead.
again. He already got cooked.
Two things real quick about
yes, sir.
The man at home rule, right? We all know back in those days, well, even today, that they were highly racist, right? So of course they would let certain things slide, or they wouldn't enforce
I don't know
the house. and you know what? I'm gonna step, and I'm gonna sneak back and stuff like that, but I'm gonna step out the picture so that my.
Let me see.
Thank you so much for having me, my brother.
Shout out to you,
Captivity.
Obsidian. What do you want to say before you sign off?
This has been fantastic. We got to do this again because I can see it's got a lot of people out. So we got to do this again. Maybe we can do it again next week.
No captivity.
Obsidian, I'm riding with you, dog. I'm riding with you. You know, and I appreciate you, bro. I'm gonna reach out to you. Probably tomorrow. I'm gonna reach out to you.
Very good.
And I wish you happy holidays, bro.
Thank you so much, and you have a great holiday too. The sister wants to ask a question, I think.
Oh, go ahead, Just Jay.
Freezy, if it's okay, I did have a quick question, and it was in reference to the live last night. Someone made a comment about pearly things, right?
Okay.
And in reference to pearly things, they made a comment about her, and I'm paraphrasing, right? So don't quote me. But it was about pearly things putting on more Black people in the space than Black men, and I was just curious about feedback from that, like in reference to whether or not that is actually accurate.
It's not accurate
when it comes
you
to
asking
content.
Obsidian that? You want to ask Obsidian that?
Yeah, it's open for anybody.
No,
but
don't say it's open for anybody. Say
I'm not aware.
No,
Yeah, I'm not aware of any specific numbers with regard to just pearly things, and to what degree she put other Black men on or not. I don't know. I can't answer.
We know.
Oh
we
yeah,
know
I wouldn't necessarily look for specific numbers, but I was
want to
definitely
say something.
trying to gauge.
Somebody wanted to say something? Or that was in the. Okay. I thought one of us.
We know that she put on a lot of people.
I'm sorry, excuse me 1 second, sir. So it was in reference to the Black community helping one another versus what Pearly Things has done for the Black community, specifically to, I guess, this space and adjacent spaces.
Yeah.
So I know you can't quantify, but
I want to answer that.
Ain't nobody want to hear you, Reese.
One thing she has done for sure, right, by default, indirectly,
God damn it,
has provided content for a lot of Blacks.
Anybody want to hear you, God damn it.
You see what I'm saying? So
no, we don't see what you're saying.
People eat that.
But does that mean that?
But niggas made her powerful, not me. I don't give a fuck.
You
they
do.
made her powerful.
But
I just wanted to
does
say
that mean that those people are on her payroll?
Proud.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up to you.
Indirectly and by
attention.
default is what I said.
Thank you.
What she did is that a lot of what she didn't really have,
Nobody want to hear
like,
your
so
way.
she's kind of benefited. Kind of here is allowed. So how did
God damn?
And then she made you accept her because why? She had her little.
Let's go like 3 minutes to see.
Lightning round.
Hey, Freezy, can you hear me?
I'm gonna let World Class get a question in before you.
No captivity.
Shut up, World Class.
Wrong class, it's your turn. Wrong class,
can you
it's
hear me?
your
I'm
turn.
good.
Yeah. You mic check sound.
Can you hear me,
nice.
Freezy?
Check 1, check 2. Yeah.
We good? We up?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Obsidian,
Yeah.
before you leave, I heard you referred to people as accusers. I don't do accusing. I'm not sure if you're familiar with me. It really don't matter. I wanted you to address this. Let's see, as soon as I bring it up.
Okay, don't
'Cause
struggle
I don't,
stream now.
you know,
You better make
people
sure
say
it's
stuff.
correct and ready. You better not struggle stream. Why you scream with the black, sir? You got our attention. Why with the black? What's going on? You struggle stream? Well, come on.
Are you showing something right now?
Yeah, like what are you doing?
I think he went out.
Wrong class. What are you doing?
Can you hear that?
No, we can't hear that.
No, we can't. If you playing
hear
something, we
that?
can't hear it.
No,
we can't hear it. World Class.
You struggle to come on.
Can't.
No.
Nah.
What's your point, sir?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you were on a panel with a guy named Reg. I just bring the screen up so you can see
Let
it.
us know about Reg.
You were on the panel with a guy. Oh, that's why you can't see it. My bad. Let me do it like
It's your
this.
fault?
Can y'all hear
A
now?
lot of things is your fault because you're always wrong all the goddamn time.
Nah, we don't hear nothing.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So you was on a panel with a guy named Reg, and you said that the manosphere needs a queer eye.
Oh damn.
Yeah,
Could you
because a lot of
elaborate
guys
on
are
why
slobs.
you said that?
Yeah, because a lot of guys
And why
are
a man?
slobs.
Damn.
Because a lot of guys are slobs. They
Damn.
don't want to wash like Reg.
Right.
He's a slob.
Yeah.
And so what I was saying was that that he needs somebody to help dress him because he's too old to be looking like a slob like that.
Okay.
And that's the reason why I said
My Reg the bad guy.
Well. Let's be clear. You on this evidence that I have up here, right? That wasn't you beefing with Reg, and it wasn't Reg that asked you the question. The nigga that asked you the question was the dude at the bottom right named Rue. So you wasn't beefing with him. I know that was cute that you just tried that, but you wasn't beefing with him in this video.
That's important. Don't make them minor things. It's
A guy named Rue. The guy named Rue. His name is Rue. That's who's at the bottom right of this video, and it was on. I don't know who channel.
Are
this is.
you? God
You
damn
said
it.
Rue.
Are you?
Rue.
Are you? Yeah.
Act like you don't.
Are
Are you? Right. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is.
You said. You
Yeah, yeah, I'm
said
trying to
you said that
explain.
the manosphere, as a man,
Well,
as
let
a
me finish the
masculine,
question
you
first.
can't be trying to explain when I ain't finished the question.
I agree.
You said that the black manosphere. This was in I think 2021.
Okay.
You said the
Right.
black manosphere, or sometimes at the around Kevin Dye.
Okay.
You said that the black manosphere needs a queer eye because it's not getting better. It didn't have nothing to do with Reg. So could you elaborate to everybody that you just went on this spill talking about why did you say that males need homosexuals to tell them to how to dress?
Yes, because a lot of black men in the black manosphere don't want to get better. They're dirty. They're ungroomed. They want to argue Kevin down for hours. Grown ass middle-aged black men want to argue Kevin down about wearing a suit. They want to argue him down about getting a haircut.
Damn.
And I said, yeah, these guys.
I got a
need
question
queer
now.
eye. They need a queer eye for the straight guy to get their ass straightened out.
Hold on.
Double
Why
down.
can't a straight man handle all that?
The straight guy to get it. Yeah, these guys.
I got a
need
question
queer
now.
eye. They need a queer eye for the straight guy to get their ass straightened out.
To get they what straight?
I got a
They need
question
queer
now.
eye. They need a queer eye for the straight guy to get their ass straightened out.
God damn.
Let me double
Why
down.
can't a straight man handle?
You heard it. You heard exactly what he said. It was clear.
That is diabolical. That
It
should
was
not been in
clear.
the same sentence. Hey, yo, Obsidian. This is
And
the
see-
game.
And see, the biggest thing, bro, we had got upset at Sharon's acronyms about men and these type of men. Can we say it's no longer applicable? Can we can't say that no more, right? So now what do we do now? See?
Just looking at a dude and saying, you know what he needs? A queer eye. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You know, they need some, man. He ain't got me food. Listen, bro. I would tell that dude, you ain't got a lot to kick it, man. Like you know what I'm saying? You invited to the cookout regardless, man. Just come on out.
It's all good. You can still come through, bro.
Just come on out, man. We like the honest ones. Just come on out, say how you feel about, you know, if you like dudes and stuff like that, that's fine, man. But you hold on. You know, I know I'm making fun of it. I know I'm making fun of it. But I would
like it's one thing, right? If we had like some kind of cousin or a friend or something, we ain't gonna be like bashing him because he's his lifestyle, right? And he happened to dress well, fine. You can ask him some questions. But the fact that you are saying that no, they don't know how to dress properly, they don't get haircuts, they don't know how to smell good, and so therefore for them to get right, to get they
smell good,
their ass straightened, they need that's bruh. I don't. That sound weird to me. I don't know. Let's see.
That's the worst part. This is your king. This is your leader saying these things. And now all Sharon got to do every time y'all try to say this, all he got to do is replay this. If he clipped this, if Sharon clipped this, y'all in trouble. If he just clipped this one line,
every time they try to deny it, right? Just play that.
In trouble.
All I gotta do is play that one part right here.
Haircut.
That's it.
And I said, yeah, these guys.
I got a
need
question
queer
now.
eye. They need a queer eye for the straight guy to get their ass straightened out.
Why can't a straight man handle all that?
So they need to go get some men.
Yes.
So you said since they don't know how to bathe and they don't know how to dress, they need to go be with a man.
Oh, that's what
Kevin himself. By the way, something Kevin himself.
They need to go be with a man.
Well, hang on. Something Kevin himself directly addressed about black men. He directly addressed that.
When I say I'm the best of the best, And I say all them niggas be copying off of me. This is what I be talking about. I'm the king of receipts. I'm who they copy off, bro.
Oh, no. Not only did you bring the receipts, not only did you bring the receipts.
Oh, no, that's cool. No, I'm dragging right now. I'm dragging right now. Hold on, slow down. So when I tell you these niggas be copying off of me, and now I'm where they get it from, how this nigga set his weak ass up here playing these fake games like he about man or he about I'm a heathen and all that, but homosexuals need to get men to be masculine. So you went from AMS.
You are caught up on that. You are caught up on that because you don't want to deal with the fact that a lot of black men need to improve.
Why wouldn't I be
closed the book? He closed
So
he might take his ball and go home.
The homosexual address you today?
You don't want to deal with that part, right?
Oh, all right, man. Niggas playing. Well, okay, what part didn't I want to deal with? Let's just make sure we clear on that. Let's deal on that. What part I didn't want to deal with? Hold up, me whatever.
Get some hard bottom shoes. Get a life. Get a life.
What the fuck does that have to do with you saying homosexuals need to dress in dress, man? What does that have to do with anything?
All right.
This. Why I got to do that? Yeah, because Negro, you damn it, you are AARP age. That's why. That's why. No woman of any consequence want to be with your funky ass.
Damn. And the issue is that he should have us as men, we need to stay down that path and leave women off the table. We don't need to be correct the women. We need to correct men. Because once we correct the men, whatever woman he chooses, that woman is going to follow that man.
I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you, brother. I don't agree with this idea that once black men get their act together, black women are going to be like lemmings going off a cliff. No.
What was there to
If
disagree
we're going to
with?
focus on black men, we just need to leave it there. Because a lot of black women are just neurotic and very disagreeable. No matter what you do, they ain't going to get on board. Fine.
Well, we won't choose them. We'll choose.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna squeeze in.
So the problem is that you put that.
You see what I'm saying? It's like he got those books and he's stuck on those books. So whatever you say, regardless of whether it makes sense, regardless whether it's factual, regardless whether it's true, he got his stick to say, oh, they're neurotic and disagreeable.
Which he had to say that because the point that was made before that was the exact truth. If men actually only sought out, like, let's say conservative dress, not conservative politically, not by all means, but just like conservative dress, just like, want to stay at home kind of girls, guess what the rest of the women would probably try to be? And the young ones that are trying to be, that are influenced by whatever we want to talk about, the hip hop or artists or whatever we want to talk about, they don't look at those as the example. But as men, if we are steadily chasing the Cardi B's, then the women are going to try to be the Cardi B's. If we're steadily chasing the Rosa Parks, then you're going to have a whole bunch of Rosa Parks.
Correct. It always boils down to that, bro. I simply said, if you don't like women's behavior, right? And we know the greatest currency to a woman is attention. We know that they love attention. That's by their nature. Having sex with them is a form of attention. That don't take rocket science. So saying, oh, I don't like her and I don't want to love her and, because of her behavior and I wouldn't marry her, but I'm going to sleep with her. Okay, so then that means you are saying that even though I wouldn't marry you because your behavior is deplorable, right? But I am going to sleep with you because your behavior is not deplorable enough to keep me from sleeping with you. So they're still getting something. It's very simplified. If men stop doing these type of things, what would that then in turn change? Like it really hangs on our feet, bro. It's like for those of us that got children, we know children do more of what they see us do than what we say.
Correct.
We can say a whole bunch of stuff and they'll forget it. But if they see something repetitively and consistently done over